Let me get a mic check. Let me get a mic check. All right, we're good. Let me get a mic check. All right, we're good.
Starting an online store is easier than you think. Let me show you how to quickly open one with Shopify.
And the reason why I'm saying that is this. Part of what I do is get you access to credit cards. Forget the loans that you don't have to pay back. If that's hard to grasp, if that's hard to understand, forget the loans that you don't have to pay back. Just think about you getting access to credit cards that give you an availability of over 6 figures. Then you'll be able to invest that line of credit into something that'll make you money. And when I'm done, I'll show you how to get several credit cards so you could use one. It's called balance transfer options. So what you're gonna do is use the balance transfer option. You're gonna use one major card to do your big investment. 1 or 2 big investments that might cost you 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, maybe even 100 grand. And then if you do that strategy, I would have taught you how to have access to enough credit cards, some of which you don't even have a late fee on. The smart credit cards, you don't get a late fee on the smart credit cards, and you don't get an annual fee on the smart credit cards. These are the heavy metal. This is the metal cards. No late fee. So what I'm telling you is, if you play the game right and you set up balance transfer options and you get the right type of credit cards, you can make the type of investment moves that other people are making. Because guess what? Nobody's using $100,000 from under their mattress. Nobody doesn't have, I'm not gonna say nobody does, but the people that's shaking and moving, the people that's making things happen in this world, they're using credit and they're using insurance monies 9.5 times out of 10 to purchase the opportunities that in the future they never have to look back on. And you guys can do the same thing too. So that's why I have the credit restoration process or program. Never mind the monies we get you access to that you don't have to pay back. Just think about what you could do with the credit cards with the right strategy. You can get you a friendly consumer franchise, right? Which means you can put $20,000, $30,000. Feel me? That's how it sounds when I go shop. Clank, clank. Straight to the bank. Black card. For my next trip, American Express. For my next trip, the X1. Only 350,000 global members. And I'm one of them. No late fees, no foreign exchange fees, no annual fees. Shit is changing. You better catch up, you heard? I'm from Brooklyn, always remember that. When my cards drop out the wallet, you feel me? That's how it sounds when I go shop. Clank, clank. Straight to the bank.
You pay $2,000 and he'll get you access to $100,000 to $300,000 of stolen money. And you got to give him 10% of that stolen money. Okay. And so so if you was able to get 300 grand, it's going to be 270 grand because you just don't 10% on the back end. You did, and you all Gucci. But you got to lie a lot on the application, and you got to sign off to it. You dig? So we'll be reading. We'll be reading about you. All right, so let's look at some of these comments because so far one person, Dusty the Rapper. Now this guy got a blue check mark. Why the hell would he be, enabling this guy? Okay, ain't no back end. So he don't got as much support as 3,000 likes. Yes, he does. Maybe I got here early. It wasn't that many likes. Where can I get a picture? So far, oh, here we go. Send for me, bro. So I don't know what the hell that means. I'm gonna skip that. So they want the painting of Nipsey. But apparently there's more comments that I can't read. I don't know. I'm not the most savvy on IG. Okay. Anyway. Oh, this guy he just grabs everything and throws it. Okay. All right. So here. Just nap time. You eat your food, so you go right to sleep. Here. Grab it. All right. So this female rapper, right? Because rappers are male and female. Or I can say this woman who's a rapper from Memphis, who Lil Uzi Vert signed. I checked out the track. I don't know anything about her. I checked out one track with Lil Uzi Vert, and it was kind of dope. It was really, really fire. For for what they rap about. In that genre, it was pretty hard. Because I kind of fell off from rap for a little bit. Like no reason, just naturally just had other interests. Not getting a car. I like to sometimes catch up on the YouTube videos I've been watching, and if I listen to music, I'm just delaying these hour-long videos. So I just rather finish watching my videos. So that's why I've been out of the loop with rap. I've been listening to videos on my stereo system in the car, and no music. And really good. That's it. So anyway, she was in her Porsche in Houston, and they don't read. This is new, so maybe more details came out by now. But from what I read, it looks like somebody just shot up the car. They get any jewelry, no money, nothing, but speculations that it could have been a robbery gone wrong. Those type of things. And now she's shot and she was up and coming. And now she's shot and killed. Okay, so it's by death. Murder is the worst crime because she's never coming back. Okay, even though people do a whole spiritual shit. Well, she's spiritually dead. She got robbed, raped, whatever. He's still alive. Okay, some people don't bounce back. Some people do. But when you die, you don't bounce back. So I don't care what people say as far as other things that happen to you. Guy going to prison, getting raped. That don't matter. That's not worse than death. When he come home, does every rape man become a homosexual afterwards, or do some just come home and just try to not think about what happened to him and they try to live a heterosexual life? You dig? So unless y'all can give me the stat that every man that was raped in prison becomes a homosexual afterwards, Yeah. So that's what happened to this rapper. But some people say black folks are not the most violent criminals that white folks are. And okay, I mean, when white folks pretty much kill each other, because a mass shooting rarely ever happens, but when they kill each other, they usually kind of know each other, like everybody else. This woman's from Memphis. She's in Houston. The car got shot up. All right. So anyway, okay. So if we're going to RizzaIslam, I should say Rizza and the Nation of Islam. He's eating. He's getting sleepy. Your bottle. Oh, you lose your bottle. So this sister right here was interviewed by Taharka Bey, and I'll let her tell it.
And tonight, on this very stage, the story will be told from my sister, formerly known as Sister Minister. Welcome to the show. How you doing, sis?
I'm doing fine, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How did you come up with the name Sister, formerly known as Sister Minister? That sounds like the purple God degree right there, my brother Prince.
Well, I remember when I had to. I think I need to mute. Do I need to mute anything?
No, you good.
Okay. Well. All right. So, well, when I rolled in, when I used to hang out with Sinetta, Tahuti, before Tahuti went to jail. I'm telling.
How did I miss you? I gotta go back in my mind because that's when I was on my couch. No, I wasn't anything.
I left when what's that
Dusty the rapper.
Young Pharaoh. I left right before Young Pharaoh came on the scene.
Okay, because I come right around the Young Pharaoh time.
Yeah.
Dusty the rapper.
Because at that time, I wonder why Sinetta is going hard with the Hebrews now for the last few years.
Right.
But at one time, the Moors was the butt of the joke. You know what I'm saying? And I could not understand. I only started the Moorish World TV to defend the integrity of Moorish science as taught by Prophet
Got my phone on the floor.
Because the Moors was getting whooped. And I didn't see any Moorish American that will come out there without trying to be polished and dignified and answer some of these questions. So I say, okay, my personality fit this right here. And so I answered the call. So you was dealing with when Natural Tahuti, he was debating.
He got locked up.
For Target Bay. That's what he's saying.
He was
Lord Abba.
And he probably wouldn't even take this angle had the Moors never been on the hot seat.
Yes, bro. That's the first Moor I ever met. That's the first Moor I ever met.
You ain't meet no more then.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Nah, I'm just nah, shout out to Lord. He ain't no more American no more.
Oh, he's not.
Nah.
Wow.
Not no more. It's like, like Moorish American is equivalent to like a Chinese American. I mean, can you imagine the Chinese say, I'm not?
Let's get to it.
He go back and look once in a while.
That was a brother that actually warned me because when we were recording, that was his name. Well, yeah.
So what happened, sis? What happened?
Right. Well, that was a brother that actually warned me because Brother Minister was his name. And so people associated me because when we were recording at the time, back in the day.
All right. So me being affiliated with the Nation of Islam, the first flag that she probably wouldn't know was that the brother name was Brother Minister. Trust me, that ain't your name in the Nation of Islam if you're not a minister. And if that is that still won't be your name, right? If your name not brother, like they might call you that when they see you. If you're actually a minister, they might say Brother Minister, right? When they see you, but that's not going to be your name. And the Nation of Islam don't do nicknames. Okay, so let me just say that they don't do nicknames. Now, yes, if your name Chuck, Charles, stuff like that, okay. But like Ray, Pookie, you know, all those RizzaIslam, like they don't do that. They don't do that. Like you gotta use your real name or the X, Rondell X, something like that. So they don't do nicknames. So the first flag of the guy she was courting, brother minister, that's the first red flag. You probably was dating a fraud. All right, just keep that in mind.
People just like, okay, that's sister minister. And there was a brother who warned me, you might want to, you know, be careful about this brother. And I was like, you know, he told me, he was very open about his past. And I think I'm fairly certain that I could inspire him to be, you know, his better self or whatever. I was covering it, everything. But there were some things that actually, you know, showed up where.
Let's go back. Hold up, sis. Before you go there, let's go back. Did you meet him within the circles of the House of Consciousness?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, did you?
And he reached out to me when we were, you know, when.
All right, that's a second red flag. She didn't meet him at a mosque. She met him in the House of Consciousness circle. You know, the Harlem circle, because right there you got anything you want to find as far as frauds. You got all type of people there. Okay, so that's the second flag.
They had the Blog Talk television. Oh, not Blog Talk radio. Remember those days?
Absolutely.
That's a while ago.
Yeah, so Blog Talk radio. I guess he heard me say something, reached out to me through like the YouTube channel, and was interested in getting me in because he said not many sisters, you know, speak up, and he wanted me to, you know, participate, you know, in what they call the ciphers back then, Sinetta ciphers. So that's how it all started. And when it became obvious that people saw us like maybe interested in each other, and then people started asking questions, and before you know it, we were actually, you know, on our way to court. We were courting, and believe me, he told me that he couldn't, like, there was like not a long dating process. So like if we got to know each other, and eventually he said, well, I want you to be my wife. So
I want to underscore something. I know people get mad when I cut you off. For my brothers,
no, it's fine.
But the audience sometimes get mad. For my brothers and sisters, I want to underscore that
we build it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I said dating on the title, but I do know courting, but dating is a familiar term, so I use the term dating. Sis never told me dating. I created the title. She approved it, but I made the title. So if anybody got a problem with the term of dating, I'm only using it because it's a familiar term. I'm not just
okay, hold on.
I'm not just talking to people in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Our people are all corners of understanding in the world.
So he gave that disclaimer because believe me, those who follow the Nation of Islam, those who are, you know, man followers, you know, they in there, man lovers, they're in there. We don't date in this Islam. We don't date. So he's letting the audience know she wasn't dating. Okay, she was courting. I'm saying dating because dating is more familiar with Americans. We know what that means. Courting, that might not resonate. You did with a lot of people. So that's why he said that, because I know the Nation members or the people who support them, the supporters, were in the chat probably roasting her for dating. And that's why he had to say that. That's not her words. Those are Tarko's words. She was courting. She was doing it the right way as far as like religion goes.
So I use dating because it's the most familiar term. But with that, go ahead, sis.
No, absolutely. And it was correct, because when he wanted to legally get married, I had told him, because of the warnings and other character like red flags. Let's not call them red flags from the beginning. Let's say they were like little pebbles, right? And just the sister who think, who believe that, if we bond or whatever, I will be, I was dedicated and making sure that he become his better self. So but
were y'all in the same city?
No.
Did y'all ever meet in Harlem? Because back then the Sinetta thing was fire. Everybody met on the 25th. Did y'all ever meet up there?
No, our dealings with Sarnetta were actually just over the telephone.
Okay, I got you.
He went to, when he used to do that, he used to go. I never went because I had kids at the time, so I didn't have the luxury of just, going. But I actually lived down south.
Yeah, I'm not understanding what Sarnetta has to do with this. I don't know if she's saying
decided that we were going to get married on a spiritual.
Yes, I don't know. I got lost on Sarnetta's name. I don't know if he just was talking to her in certain settings, or if he was on a phone call with her with the other brothers. So I don't know.
Spiritual. When he used to do that, he used the telephone. Dealings with Sarnetta were actually just over the telephone.
Okay, I got you.
He went to, when he used to do that, he used to go. I never went because I had kids at the time, so I didn't have the luxury of just, going. But I actually lived down south.
Right.
And when we decided that we were going to get married on a
spiritual level, she's going to say
spiritual level, not decided that we were going to get married on a spiritual level, not legal.
All right, so let me just show you what I'm doing. So I'm not really reading the chat. I'll peek in here and there, but let me just show you. So as I'm playing this, I'm actually working on my Espanol. So this is what I'm doing. So I'm over here making up more, right, for myself. So I'm just formatting it. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm not really reading chat. I'll check out in a second. Just let you know, in case somebody says something, I didn't respond. That's why. I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Legally, I said, well, we could do the spiritual marriage. We had a ceremony.
I smell. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The spiritual marriage. Here we go.
And
that reminds me of the Morris certificate marriage. Let me give you a certificate and we're married. Let me write you a marriage certificate. We are married today.
Sovereignty and all of that. Like black people, not needing a man in their business and all of that. All of that sounded, I romanticized the Black Unity movement at the time.
Right.
So definitely learned a lesson. I would say
you were a black out.
So was the brother? So when you said what makes you align this with NOI? Was it his mannerism that seemed to be reflection of the teachings of NOI, or what was? And was he? Are you sure that he was a registered member of NOI?
He was registered because he was actually trying to get a mosque in the town that we were in. And
so she said he was registered because he was trying to get a mosque.
So he had to go through the process of, he went through these meetings, and when I actually would meet the brothers through these telephone conversations, he had to come up with like a plan or whatever. And I remember when I was asking a lot of questions, the brothers seemed, not to like when the sisters asked questions, and I actually eventually was not allowed to come to the meeting.
Don't you ask any questions in a religious setting. I don't care what they tell you. It ain't just Christianity. Don't you ask questions. The Egypt bullshit is also religion. Don't ask questions and none of that stuff. You will get silenced.
Anymore. So
who was he marrying?
Say that again.
I said, so who was he marrying? If you can't come to the meeting.
But my thing, here's the thing, because we had because some Muslims actually, I guess, was okay.
That's another red flag. You can't come to meetings. The only time women are not invited to a Nation of Islam meeting if they that's a FOI class. That's like on a Monday. Well, she's not really in the Nation of Islam, so that could be another thing. Yeah, because they do have labor meetings. So it turns out people are saying that was Minister Louis Farrakhan in that audio. So it's a laborers meeting. So if she's not a registered Muslim, she wouldn't be allowed in the laborers meeting either. So I'm not sure what type of phone call conference calls they were having, but if it was a laborers meeting or believers, they also call it believers meeting. If it's a believers meeting, she would not be welcome. That's just like the policy.
With the spiritual marriage, right? Because
I'd have no problem with it, but I think when people put that connotation to it, it smells like smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold up, you know what I mean? Hold on, what is this? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But because he's a registered member of the Nation of Islam,
right?
He is going through the mosque, though, right? And that's what these talks are about.
Absolutely. So,
So she would have no way to prove he's registered. So she's going off that she believes him when he says he's registered.
But when I told him that my concerns, because what I knew of Farrakhan and, you know, the whole Malcolm X situation, I told him I had concerns because I had, a matter of fact, this is what Sanetta said. He allowed me to have, like, speak in some of the conversations.
So she keeps saying Sanetta, so she's involved in Sanetta.
We would have over the internet, but I wasn't allowed to join the House of Consciousness because I wouldn't say that all white men is the devil. So that was like a prerequisite, right? To even, so my thing was, so I was like, okay, so we can work together to build, right? And then Sanetta was like, okay, we can do that. So you can work with us, but you can't join us, but that was the House of Consciousness. And also, because I felt like I was not allowed to participate in the meetings when he was trying to.
All right, I'm gonna let it roll for like a couple minutes because I got to change his diaper. Poopy poop.
Get the mosque started up in the town that we were in. I felt like that this is something that I didn't want to join. I didn't want to be part of, but we were spiritually married. So we were together for 10 years. 10.
Hey, hold up. I see a lot of comments in the chat, and I wasn't even going to deal with the chat today. But she was married to a registered Muslim of the NOI for 10 years.
Yes.
That's a red flag on her part. That's a red flag that she ain't always right.
Hold up.
10 years, you got a fake spiritual marriage.
So did y'all actually live together, and did y'all have children together and all of that?
We didn't have children together. He had kids and I had kids, and he actually he wanted me, you know, that when a woman get you know, her tubes tied, he actually wanted to pay to get them untied. And I told him that I was done with, you know, having kids. I said we had 5 kids together. I think that's enough. Let's just focus on building the community. And
he wanted to build a new family with you too, though, maybe.
But I just felt like we had enough on our hands. Plus, he had promised me a house. And we were still in this 2-bedroom apartment, and I said, you know, so there were a lot of things. Like I felt like I had to. So
they both had kids upon meeting. Is that part of the 80% of women date the same men and leave the other 20%? Is that what they talk about?
Financially cheered his brother on to, you know, raise his financial greatness, because, you know, he was into the bean pies and the incense and the oils, but he wasn't but he wasn't like.
So sis, it sounds like you're tolerating a bum nigga and you're making it excuses for him. You know, you lowered your standards. All right. You're lucky you ain't on Kevin Samuel. He'd have roast you for that one.
Don't be mad at me. Come on now.
But he wasn't interested in like flourishing out of that, you know, that you know, that base.
Was that paying the bills?
It was paying the bills, but it wasn't enough to get us into a house. It wasn't enough to get us into the house, though, that he had promised me.
Right.
So when I realized that wasn't gonna work, I actually, because I wasn't working it, because he was like, you know, if you become my wife, you don't have to worry about working, you don't have to pay no bills. You know, that was like music to my ears. And it actually was like a NOI fairy tale, and, you know, in a lot of ways. And
okay, so the first year, how soon was it when y'all got to actually come together and live together? Did that happen quickly?
We courted for a year. When we had the ceremony, realized that we were going to be together, we moved in together. And then like 4 months later, we had the ceremony.
Okay.
So to make it official. So
in the beginning, was it any form of normalcy? Was it, I mean,
he was so great in the beginning. And then I think our biggest arguments were, well, you told me you had this financial plan that was going to, get us into this house. What is it? And then so when I realized that maybe I needed to help him out financially, like give him his re-up money and maybe he could flip it. And so I was like, well, you know what? I will actually help you build this business, whatever you thought, whatever you think, so we could get there faster, right? And when I realized it wasn't enough profit margin, I said, I'm going to have to get a job because you're not bringing it. And I said, I would actually help, because it went from him paying all the bills to I'm going to have to help this brother out, if I want that house. And when that started happening, we actually started getting into more trouble because he was like, no, you're supposed to stay at the house, and all of this. And that was a big situation. And I actually was like, well, I don't see us moving, you moving the needle a lot. So I think what actually started happening was what he probably felt like financially insecure. And when I was actually saying, when I said, well, I need to just start working because you're not bringing enough income to, I don't, so that was like a lot of issues. And then also the way we parented.
Yeah, okay.
But
let me answer that question for no man. She said, can you marry a non-member? Yes. This is how brothers get slick and marry that MalikaAndrews looking ass sister. You ain't gonna find her in the mosque. You ain't gonna find MalikaAndrews in the mosque. Some old Jewish woman that looks black. You're gonna find black people in the mosque. They're gonna look like they're black. Right? It's not too many mixed people like that. There's definitely sisters in the mosque. So you want one of those mixed breeds, those half white, damn near bright, all that, next close thing to white, you're going to find them outside the mosque. And what you're going to try to do is convert them to the teachings, they call it. Right? So that's how that works. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why she keep bringing up the HOK. I'm confusing that too. Kevin ain't died suspiciously. He died from cardiac arrest. He did. That's normal for black men, 50 years old. And he was a little older than that. This is damn near, but Coolio, cardiac arrest. Bernie Mac and everybody else. So now that's about normal. It's about normal. 50 years old and older black men. 50 years dying from cardiac arrest is about right. Niggas gotta get their life together. Their eating habits together.
Did you ever think about, because I know on the former show you said you never became a member of this, did you ever consider?
It was I was going to actually, because I had told him that I would because when I told him in the beginning that I was concerned about a lot of Farrakhan's, his as loving as he can be, right? Yeah. My issues with the way he deal with race. It was
I don't know. Okay, the re-up. Okay, if he's not into some illegal stuff, it's gonna be more so the Final Call newspaper and Bean Pie.
that was a problem because I felt like there was maybe
just let you know, all you're gonna do with selling bean pies, all you're gonna do is pay a phone bill, right? That's the only serious bill you're gonna pay with them selling bean pies in newspapers is a phone bill.
Yeah.
And maybe your electric bill.
I don't know, like they didn't tell you that you could not deal with white people, but it was like this, like, don't try to deal with white people as if you can, if you can do so. And so it like this pressure. I felt like there was this pressure, like only
called black allergy.
Only do business with black people, only talk to black people. If you had white friends, that was okay. But
did Did
Cannabis
you
infusing
have
part.
like
Oh yeah, if they did that,
Europeans that
oh
you really ain't
God.
want to let go?
If they sold cannabis infused bean pies, they would be very successful.
Absolutely. I actually told him that we might not even be compatible.
I love this. Sister is straight. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Heaven was a unifying force for black people, and white folks in charge were scared. Nah, white folks? Okay, Thelma, you know, that's how you see it, right? I don't believe there's any black person that white folks are afraid of. I don't think there's one black person that can scare white folks. White folks are really, really light years ahead of black folks. All right. These guys can go find Osama bin Laden in a hole like thousands of miles away. You dig? They're not afraid of a black man in America. All right. I mean, we're in their backyard. They know if they wanted to, if they, talking about military and CIA, all that type of shit, if FBI, all these different intelligence forces, if they wanted to monitor black folks that had influence and all that type of stuff, they could, and they could make it where we can easily be canceled. Easily be canceled. Very easily be canceled. All right. So yeah. So now, yeah. So that's how I would see it.
And I have to remind him,
Bobby, who was that? Ricardo? Nah, that's a Mexican, but yeah, plenty of them.
told me, and I said, well, what about the white people that sent us our wedding gifts? I said, so you want me to cut them off too? And then he was like, so we was always having this.
Yeah. Their white man stuff be the biggest hypocritical double standards, because when I was doing security for them, we were working for the Italians. The Italians had us do security. When they start building malls and things like that, like there'd be like precious aluminum and different things that people would steal. So we did the security, but the people who hired us were Italians, and yes, the Italians knew they were hiring the Nation of Islam, right? So let's not get confused there. They knew who they were hiring, right? Yeah. So Nation of Islam had deals and business with white folks all the time, but low key they'll tell you, nah, keep it black. Yeah, believe me.
Back and forth. I felt pressured to give up my European friend.
So, Sid, what are some of the things? So that's year one. Things was going good. How about year two?
Year two, that was when I was like, I'm gonna get a job, and we went through this whole situation where I could not even. So I was a massage therapist, but in order to get my license, I had to go to a school that was like 2 hours away, because we were in a very rural upstate New York area. And the nearest school that I could go to was like 2, and I just needed
they have a lot of poor trailer trash parts of upstate New York, by the way. Upstate New York is like the country part, the more rural parts. It's not like the city New York at all. There are buses everywhere. No. Upstate New York kind of look like Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania is like rural and boring. It's Philly. That's like the more city part. You dig? So it's Philly and then Pennsylvania, or things around Philly. Cause like DJ Focus is in PA, but he lives nowhere near Philly. He's probably the same distance I am from Philly. Yeah, so upstate New York is the rural part. More white, trailer trashes, kind of
like a rental car, because at the time my car had broke down, and I wasn't he didn't have the money to help me fix it. And I was like, I need to go to school, because I'm not going to be, and in this small town, you're either going to do like a regular job, or if you have a skill or profession, that's what I'm.
Regular job, like work at the bakery, pizza store, things like that, sweat factory.
I wanted to do. I didn't want like a regular job. I wanted to stick with my profession, and because I only had to do like one semester of school to get my educational requirements up. And he had a problem with that. He couldn't help me get a rental car so I could go to the school. And I was like, when I was at the point where I was asking to borrow money from my mother, I actually got a job at Walmart. Got the
Labs undefeated. Yeah. Thelma said they don't care about us. Who's this they, Thelma? Is that all white folks, or is that the white folks in power?
Money, went to school. The school actually they loaned me money for the semester. Soon as I got my license and started making money, and I was like, let's move. I have the money we can, do this together. But what he did not like, I said, well, since we are, and we talked about polygamy, and I said,
oh damn, the polygamy talk. Yeah, this baby does not like toys. He likes non-toys. Okay, he's rolling around an empty bottle, and he'd rather roll that around than his trucks and cars.
Well, if you're allowed to get other women, if I'm bringing half the income, can I, inquire about having other husbands? He did. He did not like that.
You're lucky we here talking today. Let me say this. I've never heard the conversation. I guess it's an unspoken conversation in NOI about polygamy.
Right.
Because you never hear brothers from the NOI express the practice of polygamy.
Right.
But I guess it.
So from my knowledge, the way like polygamy practice in the Nation of Islam, okay, I'm gonna be honest. The way they practice polygamy, like Taharka Bey is correct. The way they practice polygamy is they don't call it cheating, but they just go have other affairs that their wife know nothing about. And if their wife happens to find out about these affairs, they'll say, "Wait, I'm Muslim. You know I'm polygamous." They'll do that. So that's what goes on, and not in everybody's case, but most cases, the brothers go ahead and just have other affairs unbeknownst to their wives. Like that's probably like 90% of all polygamous affairs. If you want to call that polygamy, that's 90% of all polygamous affairs from the brothers.
I guess it is.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I ask one of my brothers later. Where my brother Warren Muhammad? I need answers.
Yeah, like if you don't have toys around, like you see that as like call diapers.
Brother, now let me leave it alone. So, but the thing is, with polygamy, wouldn't you have to be able to afford it?
Absolutely, because I told him that he was not allowed to.
No. Like you said earlier, Target, babe, this ain't Sunni Islam. This is Nation Islam. Some made up shit by the day. Like these rules change and be made up on a day. In the Quran, it might say that's not Nation Islam. But don't forget, damn it, all the members are a bunch of deadbeats, right? Because they go after the deadbeats of society. They don't go after the best, like white folks. White folks go after their best. Niggas go after the worst. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna get the worst, and they're not gonna have jobs or no really education, things like that.
Women for wives until he get the house. And now I said, now if I help you get this house, then you can start looking for wives, and then I can start looking for husbands, right? Because I'm helping you.
Was you for real?
Absolutely. He
you
did not like
a couple husbands.
Absolutely, because absolutely. Absolutely. Why not, brother? Why not?
No, sister. This is the best show on the internet. You better thumbs up.
Can't the sisters have brother husbands?
It's for real though.
If I'm helping with, why would I pay half the bills for him to court other women? I mean, doesn't that make sense?
Hey, when it comes to, they say freedom, justice, and equality. It sounds like equality to me. I don't be mad. So So what did he actually say about that? Do I know he
said if I can date, he didn't want me. Basically, he said, I don't want you having other husbands. I said, well, are you going to provide the financial resources to get the house that I want? And I said, if you get the house and you can afford another house for your second wife, I'm all for it. So there were financial requirements if he wanted to, stick with the polygamy or do that. Because I said, if you bringing in the money, if you can afford more than one wife, I'm for it. And I said, if we getting along, I'm all for it. You don't want me having brother husbands, that's fine too. But if I'm taking care of myself, if I'm financially bringing in money where I'm taking care of myself, I'm not trying to hear it, So he was like, okay, I'm gonna get my money up. So that seemed like to put a little fire in his butt. I said, but I can't be giving you any re-up money, okay? He was like, okay. So he was trying to get his money up.
Was that the re-up bean pie money and paper money?
I told the brother, I said, you need to think about other sources of income. And I was like, this is gonna inspire him. I said, if he has a woman who's willing to support him to have another sister wife, and he, if I give him the green light, but I require certain financial, if I have financial requirements, that's gonna, ignite his financial, let me get the bag. You know what I'm saying? So when it wasn't working out, and when I actually had this intuition where I feel like you are, like he was staying out later, he was coming home, so there was this thing that I had where I was like, are you seeing somebody, or like, are you, and he would, he would deny it and deny it and deny it. Of course, I'm a female who believes, like, if you feel like something's wrong, go through you and your partner. I was going through his phones. I was going through his Facebook message, because we had the codes to each other's stuff. And then I guess he thought that he could, woo me into not checking that stuff, or he believed he had me under, some type of mind control. And I actually confronted him. And he actually, hold on, I'm gonna actually put it, because I don't want anybody, if he doesn't feel like he wants to, verify this, okay, you know that brother, right? You know that in the back chat.
Let me see.
You know him, right? I mean, because we talked, but I don't want. He actually counseled us.
I know him.
I know. So you talked it. So I want, because I don't want the brother, like anybody who I don't want to say no names. So you confirmed that with him. He actually counseled us and about the situation. And he thought that maybe because he did not, because we had this whole debate on what is cheating. Because if you are having conversations about, things that you only supposed to have with your partner or your wife or your husband, that's emotional cheating. And he felt like just because there was no intercourse involved, that it wasn't real cheating. And so and I said, no, so I tell you what, let me go out here and have this same kind of conversations with other brothers. Is that okay? So that was the only way I could, like, so I could do it too. So it was like, no, I'll break it off. And so he would do stuff like that. And then, so that was like year 4. So from year 2 to 4, we're trying to, get this his financial requirements up for him to be, even interested in polygamy. So like, why are you even talking about being with other people and you don't even have the financial financial backing to even start even having these conversations with other women outside of us? So year 5, year 6, I felt like it was taking too long. I'm like, getting frustrated. And maybe year 7, year 8, I felt like there was a situation where he was back at it again, where he wasn't financially, getting his bag up. And I found out that he was like, messages to, another lady. And then it actually ended, where I actually had to leave the house. So I was like, I didn't want to put up, I'm trying to just basically get from point A to point Z, because if anybody have any questions.
And they got Arabian budgets.
You're mute. I can't hear you.
What are the more?
Okay, there you go. I can hear you now.
Love your sister Yasmin. She said,
Dream house. Hey, she don't know about that house. It will make sure Islam members that because most likely they stay with their moms or type of relatives. So yeah, that house is that dream that He's gonna get you one day. Allah gonna bless him with a house.
GS, I'm late. What's the subject? The subject is my sister. My sister has had experience courting a brother and married to a brother in the NOI. And
spiritual marriage.
And what we're alluding to is that it appears to be that misogyny is in a lot of our organizations, and misogyny overruns individuals of our organizations. And sis is giving her story, and so we're going to get to how it relates to the NOI in a minute. But we're just hearing right now. We're just going through her experiences. And let me, Sister Stargate. Somebody know you. So let me rewind a little bit.
Right.
Why is it that you associate his practices with the NOI? Because I got a few calls on the show that that's an individual. That don't have nothing to do with the NOI. I actually got a couple of texts right now, and they say NOI don't practice polygamy.
Okay, so does the fruit do? Because he did have association where he was thinking about becoming NOI and the fruit too, the FOI.
Right.
And then he also had desires to become like nations of gods on earth, but he really stuck with the NOI because he felt, but he did have like, he was registered because like there was another, like, I don't even know how to spell this name, but I'm gonna have to probably email you, because we would get counseling from brothers that was, brothers as close to Farrakhan, and like we would, a lot of people had asked us, should we, end our spiritual marriage, and why do I still, deal with him? I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did he attend a local mosque? Or was that?
He was trying to get a mosque because we didn't have a mosque locally where we were, but he was trying to get one, opened in our area.
Gotcha.
And so I would actually, because I had, to watch the kids, he would actually go look for mosques that we could go attend. And I was saying, well, what I'll do is I will attend these meetings with you, and I will work with you. But I said, I don't know if I could join unless I find a mosque where the women are like equally yoked with the men, or like the women don't have to be submissive, and the women don't have to be, I don't know.
Ever attend any meetings with them?
No, only by telephone. Remember in the beginning it was by telephone. And remember when I was asking questions, the brothers did not even want me coming to these telephone meetings anymore.
Okay. So he was doing his meetings by telephone conference, which is a normal thing. Now, because there's not even in the Moorish Science Temple of America, there's not temples in many states and many cities throughout the United States. So the telephone conference is the alternative. So I get it. So did he actually what was his requirement for you as it relates to his wife? Did he ever say that you have to be a member or join? Did he mention
I told him that I would come to the meetings with him, and that was okay with him. I said, before I join, I want to create a mosque where I said, and if you're going to build it, I'll help you build it. I said, or I'll help you. And I said, but before I become a member, I want to make sure that the women are treated equally. So
you gonna rewrite your book on how you gonna do the NOI.
Listen,
what was your perception of how women was being treated?
Right, like the fact that I couldn't be a part of the meetings anymore by telephone, that was my that was a red flag to me. And I told him that I did not want to participate in a religion where the women are silenced or not allowed in the conversations or the meetings to even start up a mosque. And so he was like, well, we'll look for so after that experience, we were supposed to look for a mosque together outside of that, but he was going to go scouting since I had the kids. You know, I didn't have nobody to watch the kids because I'm from out of town. Remember,
was he from down south?
No, we were in. So he moved me up. So I lived with him in New York, upstate New York. So I had actually moved from down south to upstate New York to be with him. So, yeah.
The reason why I asked that because it sounds like, was he a registered member or was he claiming a registered member or was he just
I'm telling you, I'm gonna send you the information.
I mean, to your benefit, you're not familiar with the politics and the inner workings of the.
I'm telling you, I was part. Like, even though I wasn't allowed in the meet, even though the men didn't want me there, I was there, and I just didn't say anything. So I'm familiar.
Right.
I'm familiar because
what I mean familiar is because it sounds like he seems to be a part of a mosque, but he really have no direct connection because there is no brick and mortar.
Same with Joe Wood.
I'm gonna send you names and numbers of people that he was affiliated.
She's like no house.
And as a matter of fact, I'll send you his information too, so he can verify this because
it's like my brother just came in. He said he was registered. If he was searching for a mosque, he wasn't.
No, he was registered. He was trying to create.
If he was searching,
he wasn't registered. If he was searching for a mosque, now, yeah, that don't mean he wasn't registered. That means he wasn't active. So that does not mean he wasn't registered. That means he was not active in the Nation of Islam. So if he was searching for a mosque, that means he was not active. He could be registered. He's just doing his own thing. There's so many rogue Nation of Islam members today that got their own thing going outside of the Nation of Islam. So that doesn't mean he's not registered. That just means he's not active in the Nation of Islam that's led by Minister Louis Farrakhan.
For a mosque.
No, he was registered. He was trying to create one in our town because we didn't have one. It's a small upstate New York town. He was trying to get one opened so he could I don't know if he was trying to become an imam, but I know he wanted to.
Imam is Orthodox Islam. That's not Nation Islam. So she's a little bit confused. But okay, so if there is no mosque in the town, he could. Yeah, I don't think the Nation of Islam is going to let you open up a mosque. They would tell you, they'll try to find out if there's any mosque close to yourself. Yeah, you just can't start up a mosque like you could sell like bootleg DVDs type stuff.
To get with other Muslim brothers that was in our area and maybe be part of the picking of the imam. If you
that's why Target Lab is not. I get it. She trying. It's not imam, but just like a. So all right, I'll let it go.
You.
It just seems like he was not filling you in on everything because.
I would totally agree with you.
Even like the term imam, the nation don't use. I don't think they use that term. I mean, they use ministers, student ministers, and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So
like Sunni Muslim, so that like would you say that was what a Sunni Muslim would do?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And so
but then so it was like maybe he was friends with what he was associated.
You got him from the HOK. That's your problem. You didn't get him from a Nation of Islam mosque. You didn't get him from a Sunni masjid. You got him from the HOK. So you most likely got a mixed breed with the Black Panther Party, RBG, Hebrew Israelite, Nation of Islam, Moore type nigga. You got a dude that's in all that. Egypt, you messed up.
With Sunni Muslims,
Peace.
But then he definitely wanted something open, and under the Nation of Islam because he had the pen and he had the.
Did he? All right, here's the clear sign. Did he talk like Farrakhan did during the 80s?
Yes.
Anybody remember how Farrakhan talked? Let me.
He was hurt when he joined the side. I was there when Farrakhan led the Scientology. When they were in cahoots, I guess, with joining each other or was bringing Scientology in, and there was and he actually was saying he's not the same Farrakhan that he used to be because he was hurt by that, and he felt, but he was gonna stick with him through thick and thin. Okay,
if he's saying that's not the same Farrakhan, then I don't believe he's an active registered minister, because an active registered Muslim, they love Farrakhan to death. They might even sleep with him. I'm joking, but nah, they just might. They love Minister Louis Farrakhan, a lot. They got pictures of him everywhere, more than their wives in their homes.
And stuff like that.
Let me ask you a question. What if somebody was to say, sister, are you bitter because your relationship didn't work out and now you want to
what am I bitter about?
I don't know, but this is social media.
No, listen. What would I have to be bitter about? I was upset that I got mistreated by him. I got upset that when I was having problems with him, a lot of the dudes were saying, well, not a lot of the dudes, there was some elders in the community, in the NOI community, that said, well, if you don't make him happy, there are other women out there that would take him, just the way he is. And then you had women, no, not women. You had dudes that would say, if you don't, like when he gets a wife, like I would be listening to conversations. He would say, like, when you get your new wife, you can pit their jealousy against each other, and you can have them under your thumb and stuff like that. And this was like, so they would be nice to me in my face, but then I would be definitely listening on conversations that he would have with elders in the NOI community.
And you saying that they say that you can put them against each other?
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That was the
wouldn't say that in front of my face, but then I would say stuff like, well, do you think that's a healthy, way to even do? Matter of fact, he said that he taught his daughters, because he used to be married to, spiritually married to one of the guys that he was getting. Oh,
so he's spiritually marrying everybody. He got all y'all. That's dumbass spiritually married bullshit.
Counsel from he said, well, you should have chose one of my other daughters, and I mean, just all kind of. And I was thinking, it doesn't feel right. Of course, I was thinking this, but
saying that to women.
I mean, I'm telling you.
Married.
But for over 10 years, did any normalcy take place? Because it sounds like I mean, this is a quick snapshot into your life, and thank you so much.
Right, absolutely.
Did any normalcy ever happen?
Like I said, there was a long stretch of me rooting him on, trying to get his financial requirements up, and our biggest arguments was the fact that he wasn't bringing enough money, our child parenting, our differences of parenting styles, and then also I think it was him trying to court sisters behind my back. That was the biggest thing. And I was like, yeah, that was
one of the things that brought you on the comment section the other night is when somebody mentioned that it's misogynistic members or the Nation of Islam or group have misogynistic practices.
Fornication.
What part of that was your experience?
Yeah,
when he was, like I said, the gentleman who said that you when you get your new wife, make sure that they're competing for you, and then that's misogynistic. Isn't it misogynistic if I'm asking questions and the gentleman tell him that I don't want her part of these meetings anymore? That's misogynistic.
Yeah, if you were part of the meetings, if you were invited and you're disinvited, yeah, they can't do that. Like I said, there's meetings that you're not supposed to come to as a non-believer, and if you was a registered believer, you still couldn't go to FOI class. Like certain men's things you couldn't go to. But if you were going to a few, then you should always be able to go to a few. Or the same meeting, I should say. If you were going to a particular meeting, then they can't just disinvite you.
That's another thing. Like I just told you about, like if she won't do what you say, threaten her with leaving her and go finding another woman. That's misogynistic.
Somebody say he's a scammer. Did she ever one time attend a sister's class? One time. She said no, they didn't.
Well, she said she wasn't registered. So that tells me all that.
We were trying because I heard of the MGT class. I heard about these MGT classes. I knew about these classes. So it was all about like trying to, find the right one, becoming a part of one and all of that. So other questions?
I'm looking right now. We will put y'all out the way right now. Somebody say, has she been to a temple mosque in person? Have you been to a mosque?
Only before, when I was in the South, I was thinking about joining a Sunni mosque.
A masjid.
Hey, now let me tell you. Now, what I hear, I don't know. Sunni mosque is a little bit more stricter.
Right, absolutely. Matter of fact, there was we talked about,
Yeah, but it looks like she's looking for that though. Yeah, Sunni mosque, the Hebrew Israelite camps. If you think the Nation of Islam men got something over you, they ain't got nothing. They can't compete with a masjid or the Hebrew Israelite camp.
When I was actually in high school too. And my mom would let me use her car to go to them on Friday. They would have their Fridays. I guess worship. I would pray with them and everything. I was but then when I met Brother Minister, it was.
I'm telling you, if a dude named his Brother Minister, there's no way in hell he's a registered active Nation of Islam member under Farrakhan.
When I knew about how Farrakhan, because like at the time I did not know like the differences, and then because I just thought it was just like maybe an off. I don't know, but when I was explaining,
it was off.
Explaining like with the Sunni Muslims back down south that I would talk about them, they say no, they're two different things, and they warned me not to even think about doing something like this, and so. Because it's two different, because the Sunni Muslims feel like they took the Islam and kind of just stole a whole religion and made it their own.
Yeah, they blackenized it.
Right. Well, let me add this.
Yes, Sunni mosque very strict.
Since then, have you ever talked to any sisters in the Nation of Islam?
Let me rephrase that. The Sunni mosque is not strict. It's your husband, in not all cases, but very much more than Nation of Islam. Your husband is going to be your slave master. Okay, that happens more so in Sunni Islam than it does in the Nation of Islam. Your husband becomes your slave master. Yes, not all of it Sunni Islam, but way more occurrences there than Nation of Islam.
No.
I would wish that you had spoke to some sisters in the Nation of Islam, because
yeah, she got her own house on fire. Yeah.
You have sisters that agree with your story.
Yeah. We're attracted to cults. If I can answer on my behalf, we're attracted to cults because we believe in blackology. That's one. Blackology is always going to send you to a cult. Just like white nationalism is going to send you to a cult. When you're a white supremacist, think about it. Which white supremacist didn't join a cult? Like the David Koresh, Waco, Texas, you name it. Charles Manson, you dig? All cults, and they were all white supremacists. Every last one of them.
Right.
Profoundly agree with your story. And I am in the process trying to make time to interview this sister. Profoundly agree with your story. But you also have some who have good experiences also.
Right.
And sometimes, we get the experience.
And why it seems like the Sunni Islam men gotta weigh 300 pounds, just like the Hebrew Israelites. Like, is that a requirement, prerequisite that you gotta gain like so much weight and become like a sumo wrestler? Like, really? When I go to mosque, everybody in the Sunni and Hebrew Israelite camps be 300 pounds, man.
From our personal experience, and we don't get the
definitely high
side. Do you think there would have been an other side if you would have 10 years a long time?
Think about it. I was trying to help him, with his, with him building this, or opening up his, that's what he wanted to do. And I was
an organization or a group, that's cool to be, to be down with or have some type of affiliation with. That's okay. But we're talking about when somebody controls your morality. Like, nah, we ain't talking about that. This ain't that.
Gonna help. I was
How the young guys say, this ain't that.
I decided to do it. Right. But like when
the young lingo be funny as hell, man. Trying to catch up with this bullshit.
I caught him emotionally cheating the second time. It just wasn't, it wasn't possible anymore. So
let me share this with everybody. Morshwell TV prides itself on being as organic as I can be. I had not talked to the sister before this interview. Would talk with shows. I don't get it. When did that end, if you don't mind me asking?
March 2020.
Now, after that ended, were you in a space where you look at the NOI differently?
I was always wanting to see the best of the NOI. So just because I was having negative experiences from him and the brothers that he associated with, because like I said, some of the counsel that I got, they were definitely excellent counsel from some of the brothers that was, telling you that are connected with Farrakhan. So there was good counsel and bad counsel. So, but I think because of our, the situation, I encountered a lot of maybe brothers who were unchecked, but at the same time, the fact that when we were listening to this story about how everything had set up, like how RZA had proposed, there was this grand, it's just this grand gesture. Everybody loved him. Like, he's very charismatic, but then there are like little things that are like, now he's dealing with this situation with the, what's the California, I don't know, the drug center situation. Yes. And the fact that it can, like, RZA seems like a nice brother, right? Right. And they're like little bits and pieces of things that were unchecked, because a lot of the brothers was just like, maybe you should, maybe you're the problem. And if it's the situation where, like, if he did sexually assault this female, it wasn't like it ended. It was another type of violent situation of its own. Like you thinking that you're helping some. I mean, it's just like that. Something terrible happens because of the entitlement brothers feel. And like I said in that Farrakhan speech, when Farrakhan said, well, what is he doing laying in your bed? And like so it's like they get the okay to kind of be coddled in a way where they don't take
Yeah, the gangs, I look at gangs as a cult.
Accountability and responsibility for their actions, so they don't become great for real in real life. So they just ride off the people's admiration.
You think
you have influence over your personal affairs? Yeah. Nigga tell you to go steal a car or go rob somebody, your personal affairs? Yeah. RizzaIslam, Hebrew Israelites, who you marry and how you marry. Yeah. These are cults.
Think that happened in your situation somewhat?
Absolutely.
Do you feel like listening to that speech where it says, why would you let him in your bed? Do you feel like do you feel like that you were the blame for some of your experiences?
Yeah.
Miss Louis Farrakhan, when he got on RZA, he chastised that sister. Why you let him in your bed? So she kind of feeling some of that. They say, well, Malcolm X said that, most honorable Malcolm X said, if you throw a rock in a room full of crowded dogs, the one that come out hollers when they got hit. So when Farrakhan chastised that sister, this is like, I did something like that. I let one of those Muslims in my bed, sleeping in my bed. Oh,
yeah, because I didn't cook for him enough, or I didn't listen to him enough, or I'm not submissive enough, or maybe if I just listen to him, and when I time and time again, I just felt like his leadership.
I need to get her in the NOI. She don't listen to me at all. Stop already up there.
Get my eyes open.
Get her in the NOI. And so you felt guilty. You felt guilty when you.
No, I didn't feel guilty at all. My thing was
try to make you feel guilty.
I definitely feel like he was trying to, and the brothers that he was associated with, and there was when he had like female friends that knew the principles of Islam. They were not NOI though, but they were definitely be like, well, just wait, be more do more cooking, do more cleaning. And I said, but I work too. So I was like, well, he's gonna have to cook and clean. Like if we both working, he's gonna cook and clean just like me. So I was like, we're gonna share the household responsibilities. You want me to help you out financially, we can, get a lot of other, equality up in here. So
But the thing is, at the end of the day, that's why you had to go to the MGT classes so you can know how to take care of home.
So my thing is, if he wasn't if his financial game wasn't on point, why should I even submit to him? If I'm helping him out financially, or that's what was going to happen when we get this house. So
the house, we back to the house. See, the thing is, she didn't, to me, right? She deluded herself to really believe she's helping this brother out become a better version of himself. And she doesn't know that she's aiding and abetting a terrorist. No, I'm joking. But now she's definitely aiding and abetting. She's aiding and abetting a bum nigga.
GT classes, I understand the point of them, but then also I felt like maybe that's why I never joined the NOI with him, because if if all you can do is if my thing, but let me make this clear. My whole thing was to help this brother get his financial bag up. I was trying to inspire him to do that. So like maybe I could see the greatness that.
So she said she's gonna help him do it, but then she says by inspiring him. This help. When I hear people say helping somebody get their life together, I always challenge my friends on that. I'll be helping my mom. Nigga, you're not helping your mom. Nigga, you paying rent. Like it be dudes that live home with their mom, talking about they helping their mom. Like I had to cuss one of my young dudes. I said, dude, you're not living with your. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't say that. I said, dude, you're not helping your mother. You're living with her and you're paying rent, you nigga, or you're paying bills, or the bills that she wants. You're paying your share basically. You're not helping her, but that's how people can feel better about their situation by saying, I'm home, but I'm helping my mom. Nigga, you're not helping your mom. You're paying your share. All right. And it says you ain't helping. All right. You are in it 50-50. You with a bum nigga and you ain't too bright your damn self.
That he, the leader that he wanted to be. But there was always some reason, especially, like I can't do what I want to do because the white man,
yep,
the white man is keeping me down. The white man won't give me a business loan. The white man won't do this. And I was like, I said, well, how is it that I can get a job, go out here, go to school, for, drive 4 hours, 3 days a week and get this job, but then I don't have no problem. But then you're facing all these obstacles. I feel like you're using that as an excuse. So I was trying to inspire him. I was trying to.
That's not inspiring him. You're just telling him the truth, right? And that's not inspiring. That's actually making him not want to be with you because he needs the excuses to feel manly, right? Because he's the king of the house. You need to submit to this bum nigga. So the Hebrew Israelites and the Nation of Islam, I'm sure the Black Panther Party men, I'm sure Nation of Islam, Black Panther Party men, and the Hebrew Israelite men, I'm sure they all say they can't get ahead in life because the white man. I'm sure they all said.
Root him on. I was trying to help him with his dreams. I was trying to make sure he got that milestone.
That's not help. That's not help.
I was as supportive as I could be.
You
know what I'm saying? But you got a lot of brothers that think that the key to their happiness is a woman who just don't question him, cook more, clean more, listen to him more. He can leave. If you don't want him, other sisters do want him, and all of that. So that's the misogyny I'm talking about.
But I think in a whole nutshell though.
I wish you came on my show. I tell her you like that. That's why you went to the
it reminds me of one of them relationships where as though
like that.
You hoping for the best and you fighting for the best, and it
absolutely
that's not a man you want.
Absolutely. But then you see the brothers that the NOI brothers that he hang with, they all have this mentality. Well, not all of them, most of them. A lot of them.
Did y'all ever hang out with an NOI group? Like the brothers and the sisters relation, double dating. We're not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to keep reminding y'all. We were trying to. There were Muslim. They were his Muslim brothers, right? I would only associate with them while they were having these meetings over the.
What I'm saying is, these Muslim brothers, did they have wives? Did y'all hang out together? Did y'all get to know each other?
One of the brothers. Absolutely. No, two of them. Yes.
When they open for call-ins, it's gonna get spicy.
Yes.
And what do you think about
that? But I would only get counsel from the brothers, and they would never bring their wives in the conversation or the counseling. So maybe that's think about that.
Did you see the wives? Did you actually speak to the wives?
No, we know that they have wives. They are known, right? Yeah,
but they was chilling in the back.
Like a lot of the women weren't interested in having my husband got it right. I'm like, where the went? Why are these brothers just out here having conversations and their wives or their, or the females they're with aren't part of any conversation?
I must admit, this is a mess. This is
I'm telling you that.
This is a whole mess. And when I think about the Nation of Islam, I think about the most polished brothers in our community, sharp dressed, well-spoken, cleaned up.
Absolutely.
Cleaned up. But
charismatic.
A whole mess. Charismatic.
I'm telling you. I mean, beloved by the community.
Yeah, but this sounds like this don't sound like the NOI that I grew up on and the NOI.
I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you, they are one thing in private. They got two faces. They got a face in the public, but then they're not operating, you know, in the spirit of, you know, I guess what, listen, there is the spirit that they put out there in the media, right? But it's not being operated in real life by a lot of the brothers that I came across.
Right. And I can say from my experience, I talk to brothers from the nation at least 3 or 4 times a week. And these are some very upstanding brothers. And I hope you brothers ain't upstanding on that phone or when I see you. I know my brother Troy X. Troy X, are you upstanding, brother? No. I know some really, really, really upstanding brothers in the Nation of Islam. And it's hard to really wrap my mind around that this brother was an actual willing, functioning NOI member or FOI. This just don't sound like it. But, you know, hey, we got these.
But listen.
No, we have these types in the Morris Science Temple.
We are here.
We have these types.
We had this conversation, right? Because you told me to talk about my experience.
Right.
After I said, I don't, whatever the situation with Rizza is, I definitely feel like there's a spirit of entitlement, and it's a toxic masculinity where they try to keep the women in check, and then something terrible happens. Where if this is true, if Rizza did sexually assault this female, it would shock people because of people wouldn't believe. That's like, I'm telling you, well, if I thought Brother Minister was going to become violent, I would have never spent 10 years wasting my life.
Did you ever experience that type of have you ever experienced that type of aggression?
Not with brother, not sexual assault with Brother Minister, but it was definitely.
No, I'm just talking about aggression.
I actually absolutely try.
My wife get on me sometimes. Today I was yelling. You know what I'm saying? Today I was yelling. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? Oh! I do. Sometimes, but she be like, you gonna bust a blood vessel.
Right.
That's my friend too. So she understands. But sometimes I'll be like today I was going to the temple and she was teaching a class. She was teaching a children's class in the Moore Science Temple of America. She said, I think was it don't have faith like so they should be our pamphlet.
With or that he associated himself with, they know how to keep a public face, keep up public appearances. But behind closed doors, the conversations that they involve themselves in, it's not. It's and my whole thing was, you know, maybe my whole thing, what I was trying to do was maybe if I'm just gonna have to be patient. I'm gonna be patient and wait till
more than patient.
I'll just be patient. You know, that was my thing. Because that was many times that I wanted to leave, but but he was able to just convince me that things were gonna get better.
He did convince you.
And I actually did try, and then he please don't abandon me. You know, I'm like, I guess tugging at my, I don't know.
Charisma. Yeah,
so in 2020, what ultimately happened that you say that's it? It's a wrap.
So when I found out he was emotionally cheating again, it ended violent. Where my daughter was actually trying to break it up. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. She was actually trying to dial 911 to save me, and he was trying to go after her to prevent her from trying to save me, you know, and and I told him to leave. Matter of fact, his friend that he had called over there to, I guess, counsel us during the situation came back miraculously and kind of, I guess, broke in the house and was like, yo, what's going, like, he was like, whatever's going on, let's go, you know, and knew it. Had he not shown up, I don't know what would have happened.
He went straight hood on you?
Straight hood. And my daughter, his stepdaughter.
Spiritual stepdaughter.
Who was trying to, you know, just And I mean, just like that, just because I had the phone, you know, and I was like, no, like, I know
Oh, you had a
something.
phone though.
My sister Yasmin, she said, "Oh, he just had a problem." Sis, NOI is not built like that. Do you believe that he had a personal problem?
Remember the conversation that
Oh, yes.
Farrakhan was having, like, Lord, like it, like all of that, these words was in this speech to RZA, it was triggering because.
Oh, thank you, sis. Let's review that. What actually triggered you about that speech? Because you maybe watch the show periodically, but you chose that day to dial in. What was the thing that chose that you heard that said, there it is?
Yeah, this is the situation all over again where when he was going in on the woman, Farrakhan was saying, well, oh, RZA, like she called him to his bed. I don't know, like, how did they end up in the bed? If this is what truly, like, how, like, you know, some brothers, what they'll do is they'll like motion you to the bed, and she probably was like trying to push him away, or like saying, no, you know, we can't do this until we marry and stuff like that. And you know, some guys, like, I was in a situation where some guys, they were like a no means yes, and I was in a situation where a dude actually tried to sexually assault me, but because I was quick enough to get away from him, you know, that didn't happen. And so they feel like they have the right to you. And the fact that Farrakhan basically, you know, in his speech,
let me see something real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to pull it up real quick.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Now, when you started acting up,
here we go,
like you wanted something.
See? Okay. How does he know?
Lisa. No. Stop. See, when you get the nigga up in a man, and you were telling him, stop. Yeah, what the hell are you doing? Getting me in this condition mentally and telling me stop. You got to be a hell of a man to get that close and stop.
Can you pause right quick?
Yeah.
Sister.
So you see how, like, Farrakhan is giving men the okay in this speech to, if a sister even allows you in the bedroom, you have the autonomy to get what it is suggested that she wanted to have sex with him. Maybe she didn't maybe she was not wanting to have sex. Maybe they ended up in the bedroom and maybe he wanted to have sex, but she didn't.
Now
go ahead.
Somebody say we did this already. Now, when I'm telling you, we're talking about what triggered sister formerly known as Sister Minister. This is what triggered her. So bear with us. She's telling her personal experience. Just talk to the chat. But go ahead.
Right. So he's giving men basically the permission. Like, if you're in her bedroom and if she tells you that she doesn't want to have sex, it's okay to want it still. And if you take it from her, it's okay. And you bring.
You were saying that?
Absolutely.
Hold up. That ain't.
Let's go back and rewind it.
Hey, sis, hold on. Good goodness and grace. I'm scared. Let me make sure we listen to the same thing. Hold up. 1 second. We gotta make sure we listen to the same thing. Hold up.
You need to mind yourself. You want to pull down a good man, then you got him. But I bet you he ain't gonna marry you.
This Fleet Farrakhan audio.
If you want a man, don't give him a damn thing but the greetings.
See, so I think in contrast to what he said first, this is the flip side. And I think a lot of teachers do that. A lot of teachers kind of go from the high to the low and show both sides of the coin.
Lower your gaze so the men are allowed to be dogs, but we're not going to teach them to be better men. We're not going to teach them to treat you like the queens you are. Lower your gaze. Don't give him nothing but the greetings, because you're not dealing with the issue. If you have men going around acting like they're interested in courting you, but don't have any good intentions for you, where is the conversation about men? You shouldn't even speak to a sister unless you're ready to court her.
But let me ask, do you think that your perception of the audio is related to your perception of the minister because of your
No, the audio, Farrakhan's own words, is right. What I'm getting mine.
You know, you couldn't keep your European buddies. You was like, oh man, here we go. And now you hear the audio, like, here we go again.
But the audio is not giving the men holding them accountable for their behavior.
Right.
Why do the sister have to take responsibility for the men? If the men want to speak to them, lower your gaze. Why isn't the conversation, brothers, don't even speak to the sisters if you aren't ready to court them, or if you ain't ready to treat them, if you're not ready to treat them right?
I think what the minister is saying is, from the Quran, it teaches to lower the gaze. You know what I'm saying? I think.
Why doesn't it teach the men to not speak to the women if they aren't ready to court?
I'm not a member of the
Yeah, exactly. That's misogynistic thinking. And I'm not mad at you, brother. I'm mad at the thought process.
No. Let me tell you. I am a brother who is of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and I don't subscribe to anything that would even be perceived as unequal. You know what I'm saying? However, I do know a little bit about, like the Quran, and the Quran teaches to lower thy gaze. And sometimes we can hear like this soundbite from the minister, whether right, wrong, or indifferent.
Spicy in a second.
I'm looking at catchphrases that I hear from the Quran, and it seems to me that the minister is merely quoting the Quran. Now, let me explain those, sister. The Quran also has certain lines in it that could be taken as misogynistic. You know what I'm saying? Holy Quran of Mecca.
Because it was written by who?
So, but with that being said,
who was the Quran written by?
It's the revealed word of God.
No. What's the gender of the God, Taharka? What's the gender of the God?
God don't have no gender. But
of course. See, that's what they want. See, that's what.
No, what I'm saying is,
technically, that's correct.
I don't subscribe to those things.
But what does the Quran subscribe, and what does the teaching subscribe?
I believe that's up to interpretation, sis.
It's up to interpretation.
I don't interpret it like that.
But in Farrakhan's speech, did he tell the brothers, don't step to the sisters unless you're ready? Did he say that? Sisters, lower your gaze. It's your responsibility to avoid the men that don't mean you no good. Take responsibility for what the brother did to you, sister. This. So you got females even in the chat that are saying that I need to take responsibility for brother minister cheating on me and getting violent. And I picked this brother and I wanted him to be violent with me.
Did you know how to take care of him? Now let me stop.
See, that's like. See, that's how it all starts. That's how it all starts.
I see that comment in the chat. Did she know how to take care of her
man? So not that the brother didn't have the right. So the onus was on the brother to take care of me, right? Because that was our agreement. I'm gonna take care of you, and I say, if you take care of me, brother, I'm gonna take care of you back. But he was supposed to be the leader. He was supposed to have his financial situation in order. He was supposed to.
It seems like you could be a little bit disgruntled because he was broke.
I'm disgruntled that Farrakhan told that the women to lower their gaze, but then tell the brothers don't step to the sisters until you're ready. That's what I'm upset. I'm disgruntled that Farrakhan is making it seem like the sister wanted sex from Rizza, and even when he said, because he's even insinuating that she wanted to stop. She didn't want to have sex, so it was okay. So whatever happens after that, it's your responsibility. That's what I'm upset about.
Let me ask you. Is it okay if I put how long we've been here? Oh yeah, we an hour and a half. Is it okay if I open the chat up for questions?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, hey sis, if you come from the House of Consciousness gays, then when it was raw, then you good. Shout out to Sinetta for grooming our brothers and sisters with thick skin back in 2014, 15, 16. I mean, what I wanted to say though is that I lost my question. What I wanted to say though, do you feel do you feel like you enabled the brother?
Because I trusted him. That should not be a female's just because I trusted him and because I stuck in there with him. It is not my responsibility that he did not step up to the plate. Somebody say, run, Star, it's a setup. It's really not. Speak. No, that's my boy. Speak. No, I don't run. I never run.
It's really not a setup. It is. This is just how we do on Morse World TV. We open the chat up. That if Star, if you watch this, you already know we open.
What did I tell you? Did I say do I look worried, Taharka?
Yeah, I asked you earlier. I said you good.
I look worried?
If you come from the original House of Consciousness days, 2014, then this is nothing.
Absolutely.
They was brutal back then.
Facts.
They were brutal, man. They were brutal. So I'm going to open this up real quick, family. Sis, I really, really appreciate you. Let me ask. Oh, that's the question I want to say. What is your spiritual background before meeting the brother?
I was actually non-denominational. I was not in. I did not.
You are
I was born. My mother. I was born a Southern Baptist, Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized. I mean, Bible thumping Southern. That's what I was born into. Left that, thought about joining a Sunni mosque. And then when I realized that was just another box, I actually explored other religions and just realized that everybody just wants to be treated with kindness. And so my religion, my spirituality is treat each other with kindness. That's mine.
Love everybody. Thyself.
Know thyself. Come on, master thyself. Master thyself. That's my religion. And be kind to one another.
Absolutely. Do you still live upstate or did you return back?
Yeah, me and my daughters made a wonderful life out here. Despite our experience with him, we decided to stay because my eldest daughter was doing her master's program. And we didn't want to, me and my younger daughter didn't want to interfere with that. And we thought maybe we would move down south once. Because it's like we're a tribe. Me and my daughters, we didn't want to split up. So we were fine staying.
Y'all jumped, bro, too, didn't y'all?
My daughter tried. My youngest one tried to. She actually tried to. But I told him, I actually was like telling him, I had to hold him because I told her to run. And he drugged me he was trying to run after her.
I whip your head, boy, with the back of the tail. I whip your head. He's about to whip
Right.
Yeah. Now, I don't think he got that from NOI. So here we go. My brother, our correspondent, co-host.
What's up, brother Damon?
Brother David X, he comes
Here we
in.
go again.
Let me tell you something. Hold up, David X. I talked to quite a few brothers from the NOI. So every time I do shows about NOI, I used to talk to Ben X a lot. You know what I'm saying? When I do a show about NOI, Ben X hit me, Malcolm Flexa hit me, and now they just chill in the background. And so now you have been the spokesman, if you will, for holding up the flag for NOI, although you're not currently active in the NOI. And I'm telling you, in the background, people are really congratulating and giving you a round of applause for you holding up that flag, even though you're not presently active within the Nation of Islam. And so, brother, you getting a lot of accolades.
You not on your dean, brother Damon? You not on your dean?
I think he's on his dean. He's just not.
I heard a lot. I heard that a lot.
Like I said, my situation is I moved to a new state and city just checking things out just based on my previous experiences. So I won't say that I'm inactive per se. But I know what you're saying. But I mean, it's just so much. It's just so much.
Active now, bro. You're waving the flag right now. Everybody.
I'm gonna always support, because when things are right, they're right. When things are wrong, they're wrong. I just want to just one thing, because it's so many stuff. So
yeah,
that's
from the top. This is my co-host.
All right. Well, first of all, no one. There's not one FOI who brings up who wants to practice. Well, they might want to practice it in their head, but it's definitely not warranted about the practice of polygamy. That's first and foremost.
All right, so let me speak to that. So, yeah, that's not in any circles. Like Nation of Islam, like the members don't talk about polygamy in any setting. Like I know, you dig. Like I said, that's usually something that he does behind his wife's back. He go have other affairs. He don't tell the new women about his wife. He don't tell the wife about the new women. It's all a secret, but they look at that as polygamy because
first and foremost. So this brother's saying that he wants to talk to you about it. Like I said, he's not in the Nation of Islam under the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because there's not.
These niggas say Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad's dead, but he's definitely not. I think gonna say Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yeah, he's definitely not. And that's why I said those red flags that he's a creep, and then also not just a creep. It's red flags that he's a fraud. Like he's lying about. Now I don't think he's lying about his position. I take that back. Just that he's a creep, and at least he's misleading her to believe that he's a registered member of the ongoing active Nation of Islam.
Not one FOI who's ever been having more than one wife. Not one.
Now, all right. Now he says some retarded shit.
Teachings under the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because there's not one FOI who's ever been having more than one wife. Not one. Now I know a brother in Akron, Ohio, who claims to have been in the nation, and myself and my minister and a couple other brothers went out.
I can tell if this brother ever talked to me, he's gonna be dancing. He's gonna be dancing on that phone. I could tell.
As guests, and he was preaching that whole polygamy and that he had a couple of wives, but this was his own thing. He had his own little thing. What this sister is talking about, this brother who she was with for a decade, sounds like he had his own thing.
Hold up, brother.
Farrakhan didn't have wives.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay, okay, but then that's to say, okay, we can talk about that, and we could also talk about the messenger having more than one wife.
No, brother, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
When you say,
why is the nigga bringing up Elijah Muhammad? Elijah Muhammad's been dead over 50 years. He's talking about we can bring up the messenger. No, let's bring up Farrakhan. You said nobody is practicing polygamy. Nobody had more than one wife. So let's deal with that.
Say the NOI doesn't practice polygamy.
Oh, her name was Sister Minister? Oh shit, I didn't even peep that. So we got a brother minister and a sister minister. Again, like I said, like there's no nicknames like that in the Nation of Islam under Farrakhan.
But then the messenger,
yes,
had more than one.
Only the messenger, and he was ordained by God to have so. Even though
hold up, I want to finish my question.
I'm sorry.
We're spooky shit.
When I brought up the topic about Farrakhan, the minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, having more than one wife, I got flooded with emails saying that it was true. But no one in the nation, formally or active, will confirm it. But former members privately says yes, it's true.
They had many meetings about it, Taharka.
So what I'm saying is, brother, either you practice polygamy or you don't. It's not the messenger did, but you can't.
Okay, and all I'm saying, and all I'm saying is,
about to get messy.
it's the leader.
It's about to get
no
messy.
rank and file FOI practices polygamy. Man, I should have been more specific. Only the leader. Only the leader. No other laborer. No rank and file soldier in FOI or MGT practice polygamy.
So it's only permitted for the leader, not the member.
That's in the Quran.
I won't say it's only permitted.
You just said that.
It's not practice. It's not practice among them.
What I'm saying is I need specifics. Is it permitted or not? Because that's where we're at now.
Because in the Quran.
Because see, that was a whole thing about that was a whole issue with Malcolm.
And don't
because
do
then
Malcolm.
He started bringing up the domestic life of the messenger.
No.
That's what it.
Doctrine. I'm not going into the minister bedroom or the minister personal affairs.
Every chance they get, they want to talk about Malcolm.
No,
every chance.
There's nowhere in the doctrine, in our supreme wisdom, anywhere that talks about polygamy.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
At all.
But in the Quran.
Well, the Quran says a lot of things. That's why you have.
But you're not supposed to.
Just like in the Bible, you have different versions. You have different interpretations.
Okay, but the Quran do not the Islam brothers brag about how.
Okay, but you talking about Islam.
No, let me finish, brother X.
So who are you talking about specifically? Don't say Islam. Be specific.
Not the Islam brothers brag about how.
Okay, but you talking about Islam.
No, let me finish, brother X.
So who are you talking about specifically? Don't say Islam.
I knew he said specifically. He did not say specifically. That's how I rewound it. I knew he did not say specifically. He said, who are you talking about specifically? Watch this. Pacific Ocean type nigga.
Be specific. So who are you talking about specifically? Don't say Islam. Be specific.
Let me finish my point.
You're talking about specifically. Don't say Islam. Be specific. So who are you talking about specifically? Don't say Islam. Be specific. So who are you talking about specifically? Don't say Islam. Be specific.
That nigga said, who you talking about specifically? Be specific. Oh my God.
Finish my point. Do not the brothers in Islam brag about the fact that just because the Bible have different versions, that's actually the downfall of Christianity. But because the Quran only has one version, that they're superior to the Bible.
There's different versions of the Quran. There's different translations, interpretations of the Quran.
Brother X, well, listen, in the meetings that I was a part of, Brother X.
What meetings were you a part of, though?
Hold up, brother. Let's keep.
You gonna say I'm a liar? You gonna sit up here and say I'm a
That
liar?
guy turned straight religion.
Hold up. Let me be the balance. What she's referring to, and I'm not defending anybody, but we need to have clarity. What she's talking about, there's not many variations of the Quran. She's talking about the Arabic on the side of the Quran. It never changes. And the English transliteration or the translation may change, but
he knew that. He knew that.
So this is what she's referring to. Come on, stop that, David. Let's be real.
No, you're telling me to stop. She's saying in Islam, but I'm listening to her.
It's all the same.
Brother Taharka, I'm having an issue because she's mixing up Orthodox with the nation.
Do not they mix the
right now,
do not the nation mix Orthodox and the.
But you're mixing up. I'm trying to understand your story. I'm trying to understand your story.
There are some Muslims that don't even practice the hadith. There's some brothers that do. So it's like y'all get to pick and choose whatever y'all want, right, Brother X?
Okay, what do you mean pick and choose?
There are a lot of brothers in the nation of Islam.
Okay, yes, they do pick and choose, right? Because they will sit there and read from the Bible that they can have more than one wife, but when that same Bible says believe in Jesus, they'd be like, nah, that part tampered. But the polygamous part is authentic. They'll tell you about so many different things in the Bible that they agree with, but when you read from that same Bible, when you point something out that they don't agree with, they'll get crazy. So yes, they do. And the same thing with the Quran. Same thing. They'll tell you that Mary did not have Jesus through without any agent of a man, right? They, no, pardon self. The Bible says that. The Bible says that Mary had Jesus as an actual virgin, like without ever having sexual relationships with a man. Okay, the Nation of Islam will tell you no, Mary had sex with Joseph. That's not in the Bible, right? But they'll make that shit up. The Quran, how about this? So before y'all want to debate the Bible, the Quran says the same shit. It says Mary had Jesus without sexual relationships with a man. So because they're quick to argue the Bible. So when I just say, all right, okay, screw the Bible. Let's go with the Quran. I mean, they get so confused when you bring up the, I set a brother up nicely. He thought I was going to defend the Bible. He was ready for all these Bible scriptures to convince me Joseph is the father in the barbershop and DJ Focus barbershop. Man, I went with the Quran. I embarrassed them in front of it was on a Saturday too. I embarrassed. Oh my God. It wasn't DJ Focus. It was somebody else in that shop. I embarrassed. Oh my God. I just used the Quran. Because he tried to stop me from using it. And then people getting their echoes like, yo, why can't you? Ain't you Muslim? So he finally backed off. Man, I read from the Quran. They was laughing. It was funny as hell. But the point is they do cherry pick.
Islam, including especially in the Nation of Islam, where the Sunnis actually say y'all pick and choose what surahs and the hadiths that y'all get to follow by, because not everybody follows the hadiths. Not everybody follows the surahs. They pick and choose what they want to do. So if it's
some registered Muslims of the Nation of Islam do not follow hadith. Some do. That's a fact. It's 100% fact.
In the Quran, the brothers that I have,
some members follow certain parts of the Bible. Some follow probably all the Bible. You know what I mean? It's a fact.
Associated myself with takes very kindly to the fact that if they are allowed to have 1, 2, 3, or 4 wives, because the Quran says so, as long as you treat them equally, they are taking on the onus to actually put that in practice. And when I told you, all I had was, as long as your money is up and you can take care of both of us, then I was all for it. So the fact that you're going to sit up here, Brother X, and say, well, we don't even do that. Well, that was plenty, brothers. There was plenty of NOI brothers that did, Brother X.
Where? What mosque?
I'm sorry, not emotional.
He was trying to open a mosque because
okay, but that's not how it works. Sister Minister, that's not how it works. What mosque does he attend to?
Guess what, Brother X?
That's not how it works.
Before any mosque open, what do you do before you open one?
You start a study group.
Thank you very much.
You never mentioned that. You never mentioned that.
What do you have to study in person, or can you study over the phone?
No, you don't study over the phone. You start a study group to establish.
Okay, so this is the miscommunication. So at this point, neither one of them are wrong. They just talking over each other. Okay, the brother is speaking about the old traditional way to start a mosque and study group. You meet in person, right? A certain city, wherever you live at, whatever state, whatever city, you meet there. And then when you get enough people interested, you go ahead and rent, space for your meetings, right? So normally the meetings, the original study class meetings, those would be in a barbershop, they could be in a library, not a library, but you get what I'm saying, any public setting. But when you get enough people, you rent a space and you try to start a mosque. That's how that works. But what she's about to mention to him, like, dude, we're in post-pandemic where everybody uses Zoom now, okay? The only people who used Zoom before the pandemic was geeks like us. You dig? But now everybody uses Zoom. So even the mosques, the masjids, and that's where she and Taharka Bey is going to point out, like, yo, we in a different time now, my boy. Nobody got to leave their house. And you know what's worse? We had those moments where sometimes we didn't want to go to the mosque, we make us some excuse and we ain't go. We're sick or we got to do this. Now, shit, they're like, all right, we'll log in a Zoom. You could be on your phone in a hospital. You could be, it's no excuse really to not attend. There's no good excuse really not to attend a mosque setting anymore because they'd be like, yo, just here's the code, click the link. Where are you at? Just click the link. And they can find out if you're lying or not. But see how fast shit can change? Now we're in the day and age where you can actually just do Zoom.
You establish a community in that city. You start a study group.
So your preference is to start in person, but your preference is not to do it over the phone.
You have to, unless it was during the.
Where does it say that?
One second. I'm gonna pause everybody. Hey, brother X. Wait, brother. Nobody can hear you. Hold on.
Okay, he's still yelling.
Brother X, would you agree or not that a conversation, being a member of the Nation of Islam, where there is no mosque or study groups, happen via the phone?
No.
There is no phone conferences in the Nation of Islam, never? Before Zoom?
Oh, before Zoom?
Yeah.
If you want to start,
You're not answering the question.
You have to start the study group.
Listen to me, brother.
He's not listening because he's in his emotions and he wants to be right, and he is right, but he's not listening how it's done post pandemic. You dig? He's not listening. He's not right. He's not wrong. So he knows he's right. That's why he wants to talk over it, but he's not listening to the question.
What you understand?
There's another way to do it now. That's what he's missing. Mosque adapted. But he's not in a mosque like the traditional. He's not under Minister Farrakhan. He's doing his own thing. That's why he doesn't know that. Like his members aren't. There's not enough members to like really. It's probably 4, 5, 6 of them. You dig? The Nation of Islam got thousands of members, so they got to do Zoom, calls. But he's not privy to that because he probably started his own little mosque and they got about 6, 8 people and they just meet each other. You dig?
Question. The question is, if there is no study group, if there is no mosque in your area, and you connect to the Nation of Islam, wouldn't it be via telephone conference?
With who?
I don't know. I'm asking because they do that in the Moorish Science Tip of America. If there's somebody in Milwaukee and they want to...
So Tarek Bey's not asking the question like too clear. He's not, he's not really painting the picture as best as possible. That's why I do... Like you got to know how to read people. Like, yo, my man's in his feelings. You got to slow down. Let him take a deep breath. Let him calm down. He thinks the sister's trying to debate him. The thing is, he believes Tarek Bey called him on to be the guru for the Nation of Islam. So therefore, or the specialist or the expert. That's why he feel like, no, I'm being challenged. I'm the guru.
In the Moorish Science Tip of America. For instance, under my administration, you can join through what I have created called the Virtual Moorish Science Tip of America, where you can attend our meetings virtually and you are right in there having the same experience as if you were right there in the temple. But I'm saying before that, they would use telephone conferences where around the country, everybody would get on a telephone conference and they would teach and learn the basics of what it is to be a Moorish American. And then when people are empowered, they will ultimately, in the Moorish Science Tip of America, ultimately create study groups from what they learned from those telephone conferences. So that's what I'm asking you. There has never been telephone conferences in the NOI?
Well, I'm just saying from my experience, we already had a mosque.
We
already had a mosque.
About like
Now our mosque, because of bad leadership and low numbers,
I told you, bad leadership and low numbers. So why Zoom wouldn't make sense to him, because there's only about 4 or 5 people in his quote unquote mosque. Because none of them are really mosques. They're just storefronts and barbershops. It's not really a mosque. Not like a building that's dedicated to the Temple of Nation of Islam. That's not what's going on here. It's a storefront where they sell books and do all type of shit. And they also had meetings there and they prayed there. And now it's a quote unquote mosque. But again, he's not listening.
I don't want the sister to be up here attacked because of a misunderstanding. Somebody said
because differences in preferences.
There was phone conferences, and that's all the sister is saying, that they were active via phone conferences, because with the intent to create a study group.
So how long did that go for though?
I don't
It
know.
doesn't matter how long it went for.
Okay, all right, okay.
I didn't know there was an expiration date either. It goes on. I mean, if, like, for example, if I live in New Jersey, let's say we're starting, like, everybody that tunes into Swazi Media, let's say we are going to start something. We're always meeting up here. We have the same ideology. Okay. We're going to take blackology to the next level, right? It's literally called the black religion. Well, no ma'am lives where she lives. I live where I live. The Watcher, Sosa, and everybody else lives where they live. We're never going to try to live amongst each other. You dig? That's not the goal. That's not the plan. You work where you work. Your kids where they are, where they're at. But we continue to push the black religion. So we don't have to live. We don't have to live with each other. But the hope is no man can influence people in her city to join. I can influence the Watcher, so on and so forth.
If there was phone conferences, I've never been privy to that. I've never heard that.
Well,
Maybe there was, but study groups,
because of what you do in your real life doesn't mean that I'm up here lying.
Study groups were never just done on phone conferences. You meet up. That's the basis of starting a congregation.
You're trying to discount me because
I'm not trying to discount you. It just doesn't make sense. You know what? I'm not the only one who thinks this just doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm saying.
What's your next question?
And Brother Taharka, what I wanted to say is, see this book here?
Now hold up. My sister Nandy gonna come up here in a minute.
Hold on.
That's cool. See this book right here?
No, that's not cool. Sister Nandy gonna tell you one.
Restrictive law of Islam.
You ain't ready for Sister Nandy.
This is what we follow. Now, when you were talking about that gaze in your eyes, when I saw that,
we know that.
Huh?
I mean, any practicing Muslim or Muslim know that's in the Quran.
What does it say in this book, brother? What does it say in this book?
I don't know. Turn to it. Let me go get mine.
What does it say? What does it say in this book, brother?
You tell me. Other religious books.
No, you tell me.
I'm about to read what the minister said. I'm about to tell you what the minister said, what he wrote about the gaze in the eye. Can I say it? Can I say it?
More than one wife.
You're going by what?
Hey, so let me get back to that. The polygamous practice. Yeah, because that was skipped over. Elijah, because I was going to look for it in the books. Gotta get my hard drive. But Elijah Muhammad said that we are Muslims, so we do practice polygamy, but not right now because we're in. And I'm joking when I say this next part, but it's really just a paraphrase. He really just said it. I'm paraphrasing. He said, as far as polygamy, we are Muslims. We do practice polygamy, but today we are in our nigga mind. Okay, we're in our nigga minds, so we're not going to practice it in our nigga minds. He said, there will come a day. So it's that future shit, right? This is when Jesus will come and save you one day. Hell will come. The sky will fall one day. You dig? It's always that one day. He said, there will come a time where we practice polygamy. He said, there will come a time. This, that ambiguous, this, that vague shit. And that's like Elijah Muhammad, like he loved religion. Like he was like the Michelangelo of religion. Like he loved just saying reckless shit that fits the narrative with religion. There will come a day, brothers and sisters, where we practice polygamy. So now they're looking like, okay, when's that day? So you see, so that day for everybody will be different. But when he said that, nobody practiced polygamy, including Elijah Muhammad. Brother Damon X, again, like Elijah's got to be men lovers, including Elijah Muhammad. There was no knowledge of anybody practicing polygamy because the Nation of Islam's practices are pretty much open amongst each other. Maybe not the public, but amongst each other, the practices are very open. Okay. It wasn't like Elijah Muhammad had certain settings, Savior Day settings where he brought out the wives. Never. So when Malcolm X got wind of Elijah Muhammad having multiple wives, leader or not, nobody's ever practiced this shit openly to each other because there will come a day when it's needed. but right now it's not needed. I guess right now it's not needed. So Elijah Muhammad, after saying one day it would be needed, shit, his day, that one day to him was the next year. The dude, well, you know what I mean? So Malcolm X like, wait, what the like, yeah, I thought we don't practice polygamy until that one day. And now all of a sudden Elijah Muhammad going to the Quran and all these spiritual books, the Bible, well, you know, Timbuktu, you know, well, you know, brother, I am the vicar of Christ. Like, stop it. So that's kind of how that happened. Like I said, it's no different than the brother who has a wife or a spiritual wife, and then he go ahead and have an affair behind her back with 2 other women, and none of the women, nobody knows about each other. And then he gets caught. He brings up, well, you know, sister, in the Quran, in the Bible, it says that's what happens. And that's what happened with Elijah Muhammad. And that's what happens with all of the Muslim brothers, the Nation of Islam Muslim brothers who practice it behind their wives' back. When they get caught, they got to go to, and that's the Quran and Bible. And they say, well, sister, this is your religion. You knew we were polygamous. That they're going to do all that. Y'all already can just guess how far down a rabbit hole they're going to take you with that shit.
Farrakhan said, you said Farrakhan said this. I'm just going by what the brother said. Can I say what Farrakhan said about the gaze in your eyes?
He's a big aggressive.
The one who had more than one wife?
Can I say it?
The one who had more than one wife?
That's my Farrakhan.
Page 117.
And again.
Can I say it?
Is it in the Quran?
So according to these brothers, FOI still don't practice polygamy, right? Except for the leader. So again, it's that. So now you see why everybody's fighting to be the new leader in the nation. You got some people just taking it. I'm talking about when it comes to women, because they want to be a leader to have all these wives. And you got some brothers just taking the punani and getting these charges on them. Other guys are waiting to be the leader to take it or coerce women to give it up.
Is this book anywhere in the Quran?
Can I read it, Brother Walker, so you can have some type of clarity?
Hey, sis, let him read. Come on, brother.
All right, on page 117 in the restricted law, under do not stare at sisters or watch the movements of their bodies. This is what the minister said. Men should not stare at women, nor should women stare at men for that matter. Do you know what it means by stare? It is when you're looking at me, I'm looking at you eye to eye. But the Quran says to the men to lower your gaze, then bring your eyes back up.
Now you see how he snuck in. See now, he's not reading from the Quran. He's reading from the writings of the minister. And the minister snuck in a passage from the Quran. This is what they do. They make up some shit, and then they read a passage out of context, always out of context, from the Quran. Ask any Orthodox Muslim, any Sunni Muslim, or the Nation of Islam ever right when they read from the Bible. I'm telling you, you might have a few Sunnis that's kind of humble, say, sometimes, but get one that's like gonna be real. They're like, hell no. And get a Hebrew Israelite or a Christian who would ever say the Nation of Islam is correct in the Bible. They're never correct in either book.
And lower your gaze again, then come back up, watching the body movements of the woman. Brothers, you have to really discipline your mind to do that, because women are fascinating. And when they dress provocatively, when they dress in a way that certain parts of their body are in motion, it compels you to look. When they wear these high-heeled shoes, making all that noise as they walk, this is written in the Quran. This is to attract your attention. When you see the body parts of the woman and stare at them, it produces lust, a passionate sexual desire.
Lust.
Although this is not a restricted
that shit produces a great feeling in my eyes.
Exhibiting good manners,
a great feeling. I want her.
Morals, because the eyes of a woman and the eyes of a man are fascinating. The more you look into a woman's eyes and she looks into the man's eyes, all of a sudden thoughts begin to change. Allah knows all these things, so he says in the Holy Quran.
Did he say that in the speech that we just heard? My point exactly. All that dog.
We don't even know that. We don't even know the full. We don't even know the full thing of that speech.
He went straight crazy.
We don't even know that speech. So you're saying. So you're saying.
One brother. He didn't tell one brother to lower their gaze in that speech, brother. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.
That nigga.
And you heard the whole speech, and you know that is the exact speech that was given.
And you know.
And you know that speech is authentic.
Tonight
And you know that speech is authentic.
The speech that we heard tonight, Brother X, did it tell the brothers in that speech to lower their gaze?
That speech sounded all caught up.
The speech she's talking about is the one that leaked about RizzaIslam.
I don't know the context of that speech.
Brother X,
I'm reading you the whole entire context.
I'm
telling you.
That's not a part of the.
So it's her turn to talk. He won't let her. She's pointing out something that sounded good on paper, but when he had to do it in practice, when the minister wrote it down, it sounded great. But when he had to say it or do it in practice, say it in practice, he didn't say that. He blamed the women. That's what she's getting at. If you let her talk.
The context.
I sat here and let you read what was that's not even in the Quran, but did he in the speech that we heard tonight? Did he tell the brothers to lower their gaze in that speech?
All right. Since you have the Quran,
he said yes or no.
Since you have the Quran out, turn the surah.
Nah, bruh. I answered every question. I've answered all your questions. Answer mine. Answer mine, Brother X. It's only right.
They can't do that.
What was your question?
Shit, come on.
My question was, did he tell the brothers in that speech to lower their gaze?
All right. Now, I want you to answer that, and then you can respond to. But did he tell the brothers in the speech to lower their gaze? 1, 2, 3. Pow.
No.
Thank you. That's
right.
what we're talking about. Because you no.
Let her finish.
Let me finish my point. Because regardless to what's in these books, when you give a speech and you're directing your speech and putting the onus on women, let me finish. When you're putting the onus on women to lower their gaze, and you're not telling the brothers, don't look at the sister until you're ready to date that woman or marry that woman or court and treat her with respect. This is the misogyny that I am speaking of, Brother X.
That's misogyny.
He left it as very misogynistic. And just because he said, you reading from a speech that he said something at one point in time, we're talking about how come at all times he doesn't hold men accountable at all times.
This is not a speech. This is our restrictive law.
We talking about the speech,
and again, on that speech that Brother Taharka played, he did not say that. You are correct. You are correct. But what I'm saying is that speech sounds doctored up. I don't know the full context of that,
Brother X.
So I'm telling you exactly what he says and what he's preached in the Nation of Islam. And you don't want to take that.
Brother X, until you find the undoctored comment or the undoctored speech, we need to.
Oh, I like this. All right, wait, we got to find her. All right, we got to find her. We got to put her on. We got to get her the same way I found the pop. We got to find this chick, the sister, the same way. We got to get her on. I like her.
About what we undoctored.
You don't want to put what he says and what he's preached in the Nation of Islam, and you don't want to take that,
Brother X. Until you find the undoctored conference or the undoctored speech, we need to speak about what we heard tonight. That's all I'm trying to get you to understand.
And I'm telling you what he says specifically to our restrictive law that is practiced, what is taught in the Nation of Islam.
We're talking about what he said in that speech.
Okay, but you know what? You can't even tell me.
Listen, do you understand the psychology when you have your leader tell the men in the community that, sisters, it is your responsibility to lower your gaze when somebody is even looking at you?
He says that for both.
But he did not say it for both. But in this situation, he did not say it.
But can you tell me if that speech has been doctored? You can't even tell me that.
You can't tell me that it was.
But I'm giving you something that's coming straight from our organization. Okay, that's what's preached.
What, Brother X? No, listen.
He wrote it.
No. That's very weak because the white man wrote the Bible too, but the white man picked and chose which passages that black folks can read from. Okay, so just because come on, like we all got personal rules in our households and our personal lives, in our personal relationships with our significant other, with kids, with friends, with mothers, with siblings that we don't follow all the way through. So just because you write it down, the idea is to practice it to the letter of the T, but we don't. Okay. So it's a great thing he written it down, because now you get to hold it up and say, hey, this is the standard. So that's what they both kind of did that. But she pointed out that he didn't hold the men to the same standard, the restricted laws of the Nation of Islam. That's what he's reading from. The men were not held to that standard. So he didn't hold them to the restricted laws of Islam. And like you said, he wrote it, so he knew better. It's not a Bible passage where he forgot it. He wrote this shit.
It's not a speech. We heard. It's just restrictive laws. What is you talking about?
Like I said, he's not.
Brother, do you agree that is the minister voice? So just say if it was a speech taken from 5 years ago, is that the minister voice?
The voice sounds very much like his, but it sounds too choppy to sound. No, I'm saying it sounds too choppy to sound like a speech that he would make. It sounds like it's taken from different speeches put together. That's what it sounds like.
Brother might be right. Brother might be right.
Please, sir. No.
But it sounds like.
See that?
That don't sound like him. That don't sound
like
him.
It does.
That don't sound
like him. It does.
Nigga up in a man.
Ooh, he's like, we the cause of y'all.
What the hell are you doing? Getting me in this condition mentally and telling me stop. You got to be a hell of a man to get that close.
See? He's giving our permission. He's giving our permission that if you don't stop yourself from wanting sex.
Let me stop for a second before I bring in Sister Nanny. Do you at least understand?
My Sister Nanny coming? Oh shit!
Say about what she's understand. Do you at least have?
Yes.
What she's saying is that
I understand.
Shut up for a second.
I understand.
Hey, but shut up.
That's what she's pointing out.
But all I'm saying is she's taking that, and we don't. To me, it sounds chopped up. She don't want to believe that. Fine, and I knew she wouldn't believe that. So
Well, you didn't know that.
Book where he explains it in detail. I didn't make this up. I read it straight from detail. I read what he said. Now she don't want to believe that. She don't want to believe that. And
what I'm saying is the actions of the leaders that's in the NOI.
But you were never in the nation. You don't know.
I told you that
you never attended the MGT class.
Excuse me. Did I not make it clear that I was trying to help this brother open one up?
You can't open one up if you're not in the nation.
But like I said, I didn't join because of the mentality of brothers like yourself.
There you go. Get on them.
Of the speech, of the mentality, of the process that was in this speech. I said I would never want to be a part of a religion with brothers like you up here following Farrakhan.
Brothers like you. I love her.
But in the speech that he was just giving and making it seem like, oh no, no, like if the sister don't want to have sex with you, that it's okay. Like, so if you sexually assault her, it's not your fault, brother. It's not your fault. You got to be a hell of a man to even stop yourself to have sex with a woman if you in the same bedroom. That is some bull, brother. And you should not be up here co-signing for that kind of behavior.
Oh yeah, Minister Farrakhan's never. He's never wrong. Elijah Muhammad's never wrong.
With that being said, let's take a break for a second. Let's bring in my Sister Nandy real
I can't wait to hear this.
Sister Nandy, are you there?
What's good, Brother Talk? Hello, everybody.
Oh, damn.
Glad you, sis. Glad to see you, Chop. You didn't chime in. I don't know what you're going to add to this conversation. I'm honored that the sister will bring her experience. And I know David X is a little bit frustrated, but
you shouldn't be. It's a small conversation.
I'm not saying it's not.
That's our experience.
You tried to discredit me. Whether the brother, did he not try to come up here and discredit me because of a preference?
He did.
But whether the brother was capping, whether the brother was freestyling his understanding of the NOI teachings, she was with him for 10 years. That is
she gonna know a lot. She gonna know a lot, bro.
Background that would give her
Yeah, definitely.
To say like this is what it was. It doesn't have to be the NOI that you experienced or the NOI that somebody else experienced, or even the FOI or whatever the case may be.
But how do we know this is even an NOI? Because she was getting confused about NOI orthodoxy. She's mixing.
Oh, excuse me, brother. Like
I mean, that's a fair question, but you didn't come with that. You didn't come with that.
Other folks who are not even in the Nation of Islam was even questioning her, Brother Taharka.
Listen, that's what they do.
This is what I'm saying. That's not on her. That's not on her. She grew up, as she said, with
Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist. She grew up with that. So she's learning as she goes along by what he is providing. That's not on her, brother. You got to stop. Hold up.
I got that. She can't. Okay.
I love Taharka.
If he's giving false knowledge, he doesn't represent the nation. He doesn't represent the nation or Farrakhan. So she can't put what he thinks he said on as something else out of context.
The mentality in the speech, the thought process, in this speech that Farrakhan gave.
Brother Taharka, when was the last time you heard Farrakhan say something and not put it in full context?
Why did the minister keep it from the nation that he had multiple wives?
All this stuff is all jumbled up.
Question.
It doesn't even flow like that. I'm just saying, it's chopped
why
up.
your leaders keeping stuff from the nation? Why did he keep the fact that he had multiple wives?
Right. It's always a secret.
Why did he keep that from the nation?
There's talk that he does. I've never seen.
Yeah, they're gonna hide it from the public. We didn't see Elijah Muhammad wives either, bro.
What? I said.
Listen, no.
What?
See, some members of even their leaders are allowed to do things. They can do whatever they want to do, but then when they're questioned, especially about
So you're saying Elijah was wrong?
Yes.
For having more than one wife.
Did he tell the nation that he had those wives?
Hell no.
Did we have to?
His wives were in the nation.
All right. Now that nigga, now he's lying. All right. Hold on, let me pause this shit. I can't stand lying ass niggas or women. This nigga's flat out lying. Okay, whether they was in the nation or not, who fucking knows? Okay, that's not the question. Did the Nation of Islam know that those women who were in the nation as registered MGT, GCC, did the Nation of Islam, did the body of the Nation of Islam know that those women were Elijah Muhammad wives? That's the question. And it's no. It's not made public. That's why when Malcolm heard that shit, he didn't believe it. So he had to come down there to find out for himself, Chicago, because don't forget he in New York. So he comes to Chicago like, yo, Elijah, what, you pimping? Like, nah, you ain't pimping, are you? Like, brother, I was ordained. Surah 58, passage 32 says, fuck out of here.
Ceremonies for all these wives, or did anybody find out about these wives after the crisis hit the nation? Were they publicly known?
That's the question.
Ceremonies? Were they living in the same house? See, if we get into that conversation, don't go into that conversation, because that conversation, much of the information was revealed after the conflict with Malcolm.
Right.
Before then, no one knew he had multiple.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This nigga flat out lying now.
Only very few close.
I can't stand niggas that be lying like that, man. That get crazy on the live.
The whole thing in a nutshell is the question that's on the table is, and I said it the other night. I never knew that the minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, had multiple wives.
I did.
I never knew that. And so I'm asking you now, does he has multiple wives? That's a yes or no.
It has been mentioned. I'll say that.
So
it has been mentioned. It has been mentioned. I've never seen.
No, hold up. You gotta stop.
Go down, boy.
Brother, you defend the NOI brand to this level. There's a better answer than never been mentioned. At this level where you're standing up and you're hooping and hollering, that's a yes or no question. Does he?
It has been mentioned, is what I said.
No,
I said that. I just said it has. The minister has mentioned it in his. The minister.
So it's yes then.
Has mentioned it himself.
So it's yes then, stupid.
So what's wrong with a simple yes?
He has said it. just mentioned it.
So yes or no. So yes or no.
But you know what? Because then someone can say, well, have you ever seen his wife?
No,
Have you ever seen his?
I asked a simple question.
Okay, and then you asked me about
Dude, it was a yes or no question.
I wasn't around. I wasn't even born.
Oh shit.
No. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this though.
But I know I met his children, his illegitimate children.
Illegitimate? From where did them illegitimate children come from?
Because right after the Malcolm X movie came out, that's when everything started back up. They always want to talk about the domestic life.
Yeah, they got to.
If the NOI is so fabulous, why did they keep that information from the nation?
Tonight, man. That's not what we're gonna do. Let's go. We're gonna talk about sister experience. Let's get Sister Nandy up in here. Sister Nandy,
that was beautiful.
I want to hear your voice in this.
That was beautiful.
Sister Minister, she's throwing haymakers over here.
That was beautiful.
Brother David, he's ducking and weaving.
He's ducking and weaving.
I love the both of y'all, and I love my sister Nandy. I know she got something to say. I don't know
that was
side
beautiful.
of the coin she gonna fall on, but here she go.
Mongo Slave, peace.
Sister Nandy,
What's good?
They didn't catch your free bodies.
Now I got to give from both perspectives. I dated a Muslim.
Yeah. Hey, wait, hold on, Mongo. I was gonna say that earlier. Like, you could easily tell, and I'm telling you, this is across the board. This is across the board. This is across. I can't be more frank than that. This is across the board. You can always tell an active Nation of Islam member that follows under Farrakhan from anybody else claiming that shit. There's certain mannerisms that they have that is unparalleled to anybody else who's claiming the same shit. They are kind in conversations. You've seen my interviews. You see how they behave. And then you see other people yelling and screaming. There's a big difference from Farrakhan followers to everybody else that believes the teachings. They won't do that. They won't behave like that. Like, not, at least not publicly. Trust me. Like, you're not going to get them unraveled in public. They're all like baby Farrakhans. Like, they're going to be very calm and cordial. They won't be yelling, screaming, cutting people off. Like I said, the proof was you seeing the interviews I had about 2 weeks of members interviewed 2 weeks of those guys. Look at my archives. They're still there. It says brother this, brother that, brother this. And they don't, once you see a brother somebody and they're screaming and yelling, you already know they are not a registered member, because they have a way to conduct themselves in public. And if you don't do that and you're caught on a live stream or recording, hooping and hollering, like, these people, would be disciplined, sat down, suspended for the miles, because they're repping Minister Louis Farrakhan all the time, every time when they speak. They're representing the Minister Louis Farrakhan every time they speak. This is why Minister Louis Khan set the tone, how to talk and handle people in public, and you follow suit. So that's the first clue that this nigga was doing his own thing. And when they do their own thing, they're always undisciplined. They're not as disciplined. They're usually reckless, fighting fireballs, fireworks. And you see right here. And again, you've seen the ones that came on my live. You've seen the ones that came on Unc lives. They act a fool, and you already know. Okay, look at brother Eric Muhammad, cussing and stuff. You already know that nigga psycho.
For a long time, for years. And when they come to you with these propositions about polygamy and all of this stuff, this is where you're supposed to be stand up and make decisions. Now, if this was something that went on and you left the relationship, I could totally agree with you, because there's a lot of chauvinism in the organization. We know that there's really no woman leadership in the organization. We know the history of the NOI. There's so many different things. So, critical thinking, why would any woman want to be a part of anybody that's in those organizations? Moving forward, when we look at things like,
oh my good, look at Dave next.
And you're with somebody for 15 plus years, and if the first year or the second year they didn't prosper or they didn't keep their word, then you should have left the relationship. I stayed in mine a long time, and I take responsibility for standing by that brother. However, it was a disaster. I'm not everywhere crying about it. Actually, we still work together. Because see, when you're over something and it doesn't affect you in certain ways, you don't even waste your time with the extra stuff. Because I gotta curb my words. You know how I get out to Hawkins. Now, Brother X, and I'm gonna get back to the sister, but I gotta go in with you. The history of the NOI is terrible, even with the leader of Elijah Muhammad. Now, I'm not gonna be disrespectful today, but I am gonna say this. Most of you brothers are very chauvinistic. Most of you all had cheating mentalities when you joined the organization.
Told you.
You all hide under these titles so it can look good to the women.
Told you.
This is a mind manipulation. This is why you all are so deep in Scientology. Now, I'm not talking about all of the brothers. I'm not saying all of the brothers before you get emotional.
No, you said everybody. You said everybody.
I've been very respectful, so I'd appreciate. If you're a Muslim, the first thing that I see is you don't even have any discipline.
Uh-huh.
So you will be brought to the board if you running your mouth like that, even at a sister.
Right.
When it comes to us trying to voice our
opinion. I told you, that's not how they talk.
With all due respect, I went through all the teaching. I understand the Quran down to you all thinking we should get slapped with a spoon. I understand him.
See, what is she talking about? Ain't nobody in the nation talk about slapping no woman with a spoon.
Sir.
That's ignorant.
I have been
Let me tell you
I'm gonna wrap it up because I've been saying 45 minutes and I listen to it respectfully. But I don't say this. You're biased, right? Because the other time I watched the show, you stated that there was Farrakhan on that video, on that tape, and you also said that you remember hearing that information somewhere else. It was one of his old speeches.
It do sound like that, though.
Now, secondary, we all know Farrakhan, and we know how he operates.
Wait, did you say Farrakhan? Oh, stop.
See,
no disrespect.
Stop. Did you say Farrakhan?
We all know Farrakhan, and we know how he operates. Let's keep it.
Yo, Sister Nanny is off the hook. She said Farrakhan. Yo, no holds bars. God damn, she came in with the sword.
We all know Farrakhan, and we know how he operates. Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it on a buck. See,
look at Sister Minister in the background. She said Farrakhan. She cheesing hard as hell.
Keep it a stack. We all know Farrakhan, and we know how he operates. Let's keep it a stack.
Look at Target's face. She say Farrakhan. Now look at Target's face. What's this?
Old speeches.
It do sound like that, though.
Now, secondary, we all know Farrakhan, and we know how he operates. Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it on a buck.
Yo, she is
no disrespect, but the disrespect is.
Let me just close out. I'm gonna say
she is off the hook, yo.
And some of the sisters. It's a bunch of gold digging, and it's a bunch of chauvinism that goes on in these places. Some of the sisters coming in with gold digging mentalities because I just can't see how can you contract yourself to getting certain things just for you to have a man and then share the man. So with you all due respect, that ain't never pimping. That's just down low prostitution. Secondary, the brothers are chauvinistic. You are all mind manipulative. You are very violent. Very egotistical. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Your bow tie too tight. So with all due respect, sir, if you're going to be biased and you're not going to represent your organization the way that you should, because they actually stand on their chauvinism. They stand on the bias. They stand on not letting sisters lead. Look at how Farrakhan talks. So with all due respect, sir, if you just go
talk.
Your information is no longer needed. Now I'm going to go on mute. Thank you.
Yo,
may I respond first to Harka? Because when she said that she take responsibility,
I gotta read the chat on that one. Yeah, I know y'all gotta be live by now. Yo. Yo, Sister Nandy. Oh my God, she ain't holding no punches ever. I thought she gonna be like a little more politically correct. Nope, Farrakhan. Damn, she went in.
For staying with that brother.
Yeah, he is shocked. Yeah, he didn't think he thought this dude, Brother Damon X, he thought Sister Minister was like out of control and out. Shit. Sister Nanny was like, shit, nigga. Fuck you talking about?
Sister Nanny, I respect your outlook on that. However, it is not my responsibility if a man tells me that he's gonna do better and he doesn't do better. It's not my fault that he didn't do. It's not my fault that I trusted.
Yes, it is.
It's not my fault that I stood by him.
You waited for the house
and waited for him to come to his greater self.
Yes, it is.
Now, if I would have stayed in a relationship while he was operating in his lower self, then I would have to take responsibility for that.
No.
He promised me when I felt like this relationship wasn't going to work.
Yeah, a lot of times, and this is where Kevin Samuel be right about. A lot of times, women fuck up with their choice of relationships, who they choose. They fuck up. 10 years. This ain't 1 year, 2 year, 8 months, 3 months. This is 10 years. Stop fucking lying. Okay, you are the blame. Okay, and you'll never get it right till you admit that shit to yourself. You are the fucking. That's 10 years. Stop lying to yourself.
Sister Minister, give me a chance.
You're gonna act like no, you had your chance 10 years ago. No.
He said, I want to better myself. I want to be better.
But you had 10 years. No. You had 10 years to see that shit ain't never come close to his dream. Where's the house? You lived in a damn efficiency apartment. Fuck out of here.
Like this no more. I don't want to be, having a poverty mindset. I don't want to be a brother who
game goofy.
Look at women in a misogynistic looking way. I want to and like I said, there was 3 times. The third time I actually left, I gave him 2 chances, and one of them was the second chance I gave him when he said that he would never do that again. Get caught talking to a sister behind my back because he was supposed to. Now, if you feel like that, are you saying that women don't deserve, like houses? Is that what you're saying, Sister Nandy? You think that's pimping?
I'm gonna say this. Let me break it down to you, sis. We all trust and we go through relationships. The whole pretense.
Hold that chair.
Based on the relationship on was bogus. I had my own.
Come over here.
I had my own man. You already.
Now, I was saying,
1 minute. Wait. Apparently, you were already established, and I don't care how this looks. Feel because a lot of these Muslims are looking for another mother and a home that can take. 80% of them don't have no jobs. They get bean pies every day and drink milk.
Now I said all that
because I'm not all the brothers. They eat bean pies and drink milk. They get systems that are already established. They have things that they come to you with these bogus contracts. See, this is what I'm saying.
It's off the hook, man.
I'm not saying that we don't drink milk, right? That's right. When we're dealing with real upstanding brothers, and I had to learn that. I was in love with Yanga. I talk about Yanga all the time. I still work with Yanga. It hurt me. It takes a woman, though.
I try to tell y'all. I say 90%. I said 90%. She said 80%. You dig? And I never watched all this. I watched a little bit, enough, a little portion. I never knew Sister Nanny was coming on. Never knew that. Okay, so this is all new to me. But I told you, I said 90% of the niggas in the moms are bum niggas. So they live with their moms, they live with a friend, you dig, in a shelter, room and house, but really no real work. Bum niggas. Yeah, Sister Nanny said 80%. Okay, she didn't say 30%, 50%, 40, 70. She said 80%. I'm 10% off, or she's 10% off. Look how close we are. I know the niggas in the mosque. This is why they got lied about the picket fence, the White House, the big White House, white picket fence, and all these dreams that Allah's gonna bless them one day when the mothership comes down and destroy America. You gotta believe that goofy shit when you in the mosque dating one of these niggas. But they proudly brag about going after the worst of society. which I thought was retarded because everybody else, including who they would call the ops go after the best in society. Because niggas would claim that they're the kings and queens of the world. Well, guess what they brought over for slavery? They brought the best over. So white folks don't go for the worst in society. They go with the best.
To take responsibility because I kept accepting.
What do you need to take responsibility for? I'm not understanding.
Okay, because when it got to the point where I saw the cheating, I saw the conversations. When it got to the point where I realized polygamy was one of his agendas, I stayed in the relationship, knowing that was something I didn't want to deal with.
Now I was willing to deal with it, Sister Nandy. So
I'm gonna be short. But see, this is where you got to take responsibility, right? Because see, you can't in one voice say, well, he's talking to someone and it's bothering.
Now if he's courting behind my back, that's cheating.
Wait 1 minute, sis.
That's the difference, Sister Nandy.
Wait 1 minute. There's no difference. Let me explain.
It is. Because if you're courting a woman, you're supposed to let the woman know that who you're in a relationship with. You're not supposed to court behind your wife or your spiritual wife back.
Now,
am I right?
Let me say this is because apparently now, I got to keep it a stat. You asking me to cut me off, right? We're going to keep it respectful. You didn't do the studies. Because you're supposed to choose the sister wife, not the brother. You were supposed to choose the sister wife.
That's what I just said, Sister
Nandy. That's not what you said.
That's what I said. We're supposed to be involved in the process together, but he was doing it behind my back.
Please, can I please finish? Please, sis. Please. I'm trying to make you clear.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just correcting you. Did I not say that, Sister Nandy?
No, sis.
No discipline.
I'm not blaming you.
Well,
I'm giving you both sides of the perspective of my experience. Okay, let me go from myself. I'm not judging you. Okay. I wasn't accepting any of that. I don't believe in sharing. It's not caring to me when it comes to my man, right?
Okay.
These terms, even if I had agreed on something like that, the contract would have already been generated. That's how Muslims operate. You didn't put it in writing. You had verbal contracts, which that's mind manipulation that men use in order to keep doing what they were doing. If he was standing up as a true Muslim, you all would have had a counselor or an imam or somebody in the middle. You would have brought your contractual information. He would have brought his, and you all would have sat at the table. Secondary, you wasn't even wrapped. He saw you before.
So what make you think we didn't have the contract? We did. But see now all I'm doing is trying to correct, because you just assuming that I didn't have one.
That's not what I'm saying, sis. A contract between you and him, right? Just
that he went against.
But wait a minute.
So why do I need to take responsibility for his recklessness?
If you would let me finish a sentence instead of being defensive, because I'm not being judgmental towards you, because your choices.
I feel judged because you said I should take responsibility.
I'm gonna say this: I had a lot of people telling me how stupid I was and stuff like that. I didn't feel judged. I didn't get defensive. You need to. I'm asking
you. Am I getting defensive or am I asking you questions?
Actually, you're cutting me off.
Hold on.
I'm correcting you, sis. I'm correcting you.
Let's not let this
correcting. There's a difference. I'm not cutting.
That's sister one. No, I can't say there's two sisters. Sister Minister, she don't want no. Hey man, now she's a typical woman that will call into Kevin Samuel's show. Talk about all the flaws of her deadbeat boyfriend, but be with that nigga for 10 years. And then Kevin goes in on you. And then you end up looking stupid. And you end up trying to blame him because you don't want to blame yourself. Okay, I already said it before Sister Nanny came on. I said, no. 10 years, that's half your fault, if not more. I'd damn near blame you more than a man at that point. Because he's a bum nigga, so you know what to expect. You're supposed to be a good woman, right? So no.
You can call me Stargate.
Sister formerly known as Sister also had an experience. Now,
look at Brother Damon,
associated with a brother from the NOI. According to her experience, this brother was not he was cracked up to be. And that's just what it is. And my thing is this for my brother Damon X and for even Sister Andy for that matter. Because a brother,
get you dressed.
and I'm speaking from a brother, the side of the coin of the brother, because the brother do not give you all the information that will empower you to know who he really is, that doesn't fall on the sister fault. That doesn't fall on the sister at all, you know, because the brother may be lacking in his lessons of NOI. The brother may be on a phone conference and thinking he's a full-blown member, and he could quite naturally not be.
Agreed.
You know, we see that all the time in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Like I tell people all the time, we got almost 400 people in this chat. If you want to know if a person a true Moorish American, hit me up. I will tell you straight up. And I don't care what administration they're in. I will go by the content of their character and the principles of their speech. And I will tell you if they are true Moorish Americans. Not my leadership or anybody else's leadership. And but if you don't have that access, then you can only deal with what he was giving you. And you can
Can I please finish one thing to Hawk, and then I'll drop off. I want to say this. Before I get involved in anything, I study, whether it's the Quran, the brother, and a lot of people keep secrets because you ain't gonna keep secrets. That's what I was trying to get to her and say. We both had kind of the same experience, but when you make certain choices, then you have to deal with them. And all I'm saying is I chose to stay with him. I accepted all of the things that he was doing wrong, even though I knew it. Because we do know a lot of things once we get into these relationships. We know. They bring it out. It's not like it's just something that pops out of a brother. That's not true things. Brothers show their characteristics as soon as you meet them.
You also meet their representatives.
They got a good, I'm going to just say this. They got a good conversation. I understand conversation.
You don't know them until they show you, right? And then if I would have stayed with him in his lower self, it would have been my responsibility. But I did not do that, sis.
Can I ask you a question, sis? And
Sure, please.
And then let me make a statement. He had to have been in his lower self when you met him, or you wouldn't have had to been the one to help him open a business, or he wouldn't have had to buy you a house. He would have already been established. You wouldn't have had to be.
Okay, so now it's so is it okay for a sister to trust a brother to establish himself after or before a relationship? So now you're judging me.
Let me say one thing.
So now you're saying that I'm the problem because he should have had the house first. That's what you're saying. So
yeah, he should have had the house first.
From my perspective, right? I'm gonna just say this: if you got a good brother and you know that his potential is there and he's showing you, he's showing you going in the right direction. Of course, support that brother. Of course, put everything into that particular relationship and put everything into that brother to help him be a substantiated man. Behind every good man.
So what's the time limit, Sister Nancy? Because what's your time limit might be my time limit and maybe somebody else's time limit. I mean, so it's like you're judging me.
After this talk, I just want to say this. I wanted to finish my sentence, but what I'm saying is,
I forgot to tell you, when it comes to dating, I'm a little crazy. If I'm dating you and it seemed, for 2-3 months and it seemed to be headed towards the right way, I agree like Kevin Samuel. This before I even knew anything about him. 2-3 months and it seems like we're every day chilling on the phone. Or you moving in? Or yeah, you moving in? Or you got to go? It's just that simple. 2-3 months, we getting along, and we're together. You basically boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, 2-3 months, you moving in. Yeah, I don't play that. Yeah, I ain't about to wait 8-9 months to find out you got a whole man and all this other shit going on. No, I'm gonna know everything about you, goofy ass. 2-3 months, we chilling, we vibing, everything's perfect. Yeah, you moving in. Or kick rocks, I meet somebody else. Just like that. You got one, there's no debate, there's no more time. Yeah, you ready? You moving in, right? We doing something together. You dig? Or okay, bye-bye.
It's on the flip side, see. When a person comes into your life, apparently if they have absolutely nothing but conversation to offer, that should be a red flag off the rip when it comes to us women. And that's all I wanted to say, Tahaka. Thank you, because I don't want to take up the show. I'll go on mute.
I think you're being a wonderful contributor. I think you're contributing wonderfully, because I think we need to have these conversations so that people, so the females that are learning from our experiences will not, I mean, I guess can make better decisions, but until they trust the brother that they and the brother show and prove. I mean, think about it. I mean, there are many brothers that have houses and end up becoming abusive to the women that they marry. So just because you have a house don't mean that you are on your assignment. So my thing is, you can only find out who a person truly is, and when you are trying to make sure that they want to better themselves, it's not the sister's responsibility to make sure that we get blamed because they refuse to raise to their higher self.
Stop the excuses, damn it.
I'm gonna say this is, if a person don't want to raise, see, this is what you got to think about. If somebody don't care about their own well-being, if they don't present that they trying to do something to better themselves and they don't want to raise themselves, then you move on to somebody that does. Now, 10 years, like I said, I was with this brother a long time. He was pillow talking when we met. He had a baby mama when we met. It was already strategically planned in his mind because cheating was one of his things. So he would use the word polygamy in order to mind manipulate the sisters. He done slept with just about everybody in all of the organizations. But guess what? I stayed with him after knowing about the baby mama. I stayed with him after I knew about he wanted to be with. But wait a minute, sis, 1 second. Because see, you can't tell me in 10 years you didn't know nothing. All in 10 years he just jumped out of
Listen, Andy, didn't I tell you that I tried to leave? He wanted me to stay, and he said he was gonna do better. And I trusted him to do better.
And I wish Yanga probably in the clouds listening because everybody watched the Hawker. Let me say this. He told me the same thing. I love you. He telling me that today. I love you.
But then he had a baby from somebody else. I mean, I was actually getting into him for things that before he even had sex with these women.
See, you talking with emotion right now. You're not listening to the message.
I'm not emotional at all. What I'm trying to say is that our experiences are different. And even though
sis, let me talk for 1 minute. Just let me talk for 2 minutes. The talk will mute me. This is what I'm telling you, sis. I put money into this brother. I bought clothes for his children. I don't have to go into my personal because, see, women just don't do that. I ain't got to get all up here and broadcast what I did for the brother. That's weak. I've been in the same exact situation. I helped him build. I wrote his speeches. I did a lot of stuff for that brother, but I still take responsibility. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Once I realized he wasn't trying to better himself, he just don't want to do that. He ain't trying. I moved on. I don't care how many times he tell me that today. He still.
I moved on too, sister. I mean,
what I'm saying is words don't mean a thing. Action.
Sometimes it do, because you believe him. So I don't think women. I don't think the female should be blaming each other for the brother's actions.
She can't
I'm not blaming you, but don't nobody tell you
she just can't believe
how to deal with me. And this is what I'm saying. I remember my family. I used to be very arrogant. I used to be rude. I know what to do with a man. You don't tell me what to do. Well, you know what? Till I start running into them problems. So all I'm saying is, if you haven't had those type of experiences, because you seem like a really good sister that come from a good background. So if you ain't dealt with those type of brothers and you wasn't really up on the information of the Nation of Islam, and a sister is trying to tell you how to deal with those things, just take it as constructive criticism. I'm not judging you. I'm telling you.
I feel judged, Sister Nandy.
How when I'm telling you I was you? How am I judging you when I'm telling you I was?
I didn't stay with him when he
stayed, but I'm telling you I did worse, sis. I did worse.
And you know what? And it's not your fault. You trusted him to be a better person. How's that your fault? Like
it is my fault because he wasn't.
Okay. Listen, I respect you. I respect your response to your experience. I just want you to expect my response to mine. That's all.
I do. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going
Sister Nandy, I appreciate you. You
Thank
seem
you,
like
sis.
really, I feel the greatness from you. I really do.
Now, let me get back to this. Thank you so much, Sister Nandy. Now, let me say this. Let me get back to this. The whole point of the conversation is where I stand on the spectrum of the conversation. That, for one, if a brother comes in and says that he's a member of the Nation of Islam, that's automatically is going to give him some sort of credence. It's going to give him some sort of credibility. Because what we have seen of the Nation of Islam, if somebody walking around with a fez on, they can be just as kooky as ever. But you're going to expect something from it. You're going to expect something, and when you're dealing with a brother who claims to be a Muslim, and one of the things that we know in Eastern Islamic faith, and I don't know if it's practiced in NOI, is that the dowry is real. So if he says, I'm going to get you a house,
right,
there is nothing wrong with her holding him to that standard.
There's nothing wrong with that
because even the custom of Eastern Islam, that is a practice. So the only thing, Damon X, what we're getting to is this, because I see you shaking your head. What we're getting to is this. It appears that people think sis is not being genuine when that's not the case. She's listening to the video of the minister voice, because I'm going back to where you chimed in at. Where you chimed in at was what triggered her. She heard the minister say a few things, and from that sound bite, whether we hear it in context or not, from that sound bite, it dug up some emotions from her experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. But what I'm saying is, like last week when we talked, we both said that something's just not right about that. And I'm saying, and she brought up that one point. So my point was, well, let me tell you what he said and this is not from the speech.
But that doesn't matter.
This is what the law that we're taught that we are to follow. I'm giving it to you in its full perspective.
But if
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that.
No, because he didn't practice it. Stupid. You can't get that. It don't matter what's on paper, you dumb nigga. The Constitution was on paper in 1787, 1786. It was on paper, 1789. You goofy nigga. It was on paper that all men are created equal. All this goofy shit. But when it's time to treat people accordingly, black people was left out, nigga. So see, that's a dumb argument point. Because a white nationalist could say, hey, the Constitution is for all men. You too, because it didn't say all white men, it said all men. But he would say, nah, but that's not how we were treated, you dumb nigga. She's saying the same thing, my boy. That piece of paper is like the American Constitution during fucking slavery. It didn't mean shit. And the Nation of Islam had slavery too, and the women are the slaves.
I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear this sound bite. It's
not a sound. We're going off the speech, Dave. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that even though whatever is written down in the doctrines that y'all are supposed to follow, the men will find a way to find loopholes to make situations better for themselves by submitting the women, by telling the women to, lower their gaze, by telling the women you should have never had that dude in your room in the first place. It's your fault. Whatever happened, it's your fault. So in this specific speech, Damon, brother X, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that there are a lot of men that are co-signing with each other for their lower behavior. Like you, like should have.
And you're saying Farrakhan is co-signing this behavior. This is what you're saying.
Why didn't he say, Rizza, why did you? No, let me say this. What he should have said, if he's a great leader who kept the fact that he had many wives from his whole flock,
Many wives,
many wives, more than one, right? The fact that y'all leaders are just have secret lives that they don't indulge in. So, like, if the leadership is not functioning at its highest capacity, it's going to create some brothers in the lower ranks, and it's going to be a lot of situations like this RZA situation because they are not holding the brothers account. Why is RZA not held accountable for enforcing himself if that is what indeed truly happened? Because
so
that
you don't know if it's true. So you're
going on. The minister said
Brother X.
You don't even know if it's true.
Farrakhan was actually insinuating that the sister.
You don't know that. That's your interpretation.
You don't know that.
I told you, these guys be men lovers. Like, they love this fucking man. They be men lovers. Like, you, dude, are you okay? But that's not called no homo. That's not a pause though. Like, we heard this shit in plain English, and he's telling him that's your interpretation. My boy, we all have an English comprehension, a decent one. At the very least, okay? That's if the way the audio came out, it's interpreted the same way by all of us, okay? He's chastising RizzaIslam for the rape allegation, my boy.
Did you not hear Farrakhan say, well, sister, why did you let him lay down with you in the bed?
And I'm saying that whole tape doesn't even flow right. It sounds like different things. So he doesn't just jump from different things like that. You don't want to believe it. I'm trying to give you. And like I said, if you were in MGT class, if you were actually in a mosque,
what he's trying to say is that you would have been indoctrinated. You would have been indoctrinated like myself to believe minister is perfect. If you were in MGT class, you would have been indoctrinated like myself to believe the minister can't do any wrong.
If you were actually in a mosque, you wouldn't have wasted 10 years. You wouldn't have wasted 10 years of your life with a brother who was a fraud. That brother was a fraud, and you got caught up in it. That's what happened. He was not right. He wasn't right.
Guess what? Why did you leave?
He wasn't right. He wasn't right, and you have every right to be mad. You have every right to be mad. He wasn't right. That brother was not right. And I don't even know if that brother was in the nation, but he was not right. And I feel sorry, that you got hurt like that.
I am upset that Farrakhan would even let those words fly.
But you know what? Farrakhan didn't make you. Farrakhan didn't make you stay with him for 10 years. Farrakhan did not make you. Farrakhan did not tell him to tell you to make promises that he couldn't keep.
Made it seem like it was her responsibility.
But that was Farrakhan's fault that you was in a useless relationship for 10 years. That's what you're saying.
But she made she made a separate argument, my boy. She's saying the leadership is so corrupt in the highest places possible that it can only trickle down to the lower ranks. That's what she's saying. If the minister is fucking everybody, you did, then why wouldn't the foot soldiers practice the same shit?
And it's Farrakhan's fault because Farrakhan is teaching.
I bet you if Farrakhan had one wife and that's all we ever known, these niggas wouldn't be all itching for polygamous relationships.
Brothers to cheat on their wife, to go into spiritual marriages with women that they only know for 2 days.
So was he legally married to his wives, Damon X? Was Farrakhan legally married to his wives, his other wives?
But what's happening with you? This is about your experience. That's about your experience.
We'll talk about Farrakhan.
You're saying it's Farrakhan's fault. Okay, it's always Farrakhan's fault. It's always
you have leaders that have this thought process.
It's Farrakhan's fault that Malcolm X got killed.
Oh yeah.
It's Farrakhan's fault that black people are anti-Semitic against so-called Jews.
So-called Jews.
It's Farrakhan's fault. Everything I get it. It's always Farrakhan's fault, brother Taharka. It's always Farrakhan's fault.
That's another show.
I've been hearing this for over 20 years.
That's why.
If Farrakhan,
since you all kudos with Sister Nandy, if you was in an MGT class MGT class, the sisters would have got you right and
What
would have
class?
pointed you
Guess
the
what?
right way. But
What
since you
class
weren't
did
in the
Farrakhan
Bow
MGT
down.
class,
What class did Farrakhan take?
since you weren't in the MGT
Away from
class,
the
you got caught up with
No,
some brother
what
who
class
was
did
not
Farrakhan
right.
What class did Farrakhan take
Let's
before?
stop 1 second. Let's stop for a second. I just let it go on so we can vent. Nobody can hear you right now. I just let it go on so everybody can vent. Let's bring some order back here. At the end of the day, brother, let's just restart real quick. Let's go for a few more minutes. Let's just restart. Let's get Sister Yasmin and Sister Candy, and we need some sisters in here. Let's see what the sister has to say.
He want the brothers.
Man, this too much going. Listen, Ishmael, it's Ishmael Abdul Rahman. One thing for sure, brother Ishmael, this
GS stands for Grand Sheik.
Let's not act like
GS stands for Grand Sheik.
like this is not real life. Although this has
social
media, this is really real life. And these are conversations, whether they're talked about here or whether they talked about out there or whether they talk about on other platforms. This is real life. This is real experiences. This is really what Brother Damon feel. This is really what Sister experienced. This is real life. So thank you, Brother Ishmael, but I'm the one that's willing to take the chance, and people may not like me. Brothers in the nation may not agree with how I do my show, but I will say that this is a reflection of real life, and this is what it is. I got a major player in the building when it comes to NOI. My brother Malcolm Flex. Now, if you want an moment, that's a moment. I hope he gonna give me my report card. You bet. Otherwise, brother Malcolm Flex is going.
Peace, family. Peace.
Brother, hold on. We gotta let my brother Malcolm Flex go first. Malcolm Flex, give me my report card right now. Don't get me off the phone. Don't call me later. What's my report card? How I'm doing?
Peace. How you doing, Brother Taharka?
How am I doing? How is Morris World TV doing first?
Man, brother, you gonna do what you do. You a grown man. You gonna do what you want to do. A lot of times, I disagree with you.
Right.
And doing these type of videos, because again, as brothers of the struggle, it should never be our intentions to try to destroy one another's image in front of the people, because there are people who are interested in there are people who are interested in the Nation of Islam.
Right.
So the brotherhood should be sacred. The sisterhood should be sacred. We should all be mindful.
Get out that bowl, man.
On how we put ourselves out
your own
into
food.
the public, because the people are going to eat it up.
Right.
So my stance and my position on it. In that regard, unity always over division. And when we're having these type of discussions, can be divisive, especially when we got people who are involved who have limited understanding on the topic and the subject at hand.
Who would that be, sir?
So, the Nation of Islam is deeper than just the surface. To my sisters who may have had bad experience.
Nah, don't do the bad
with
experience.
With a couple brothers, it doesn't reflect on the whole Nation of Islam.
It's always you have bad experiences.
That's your personal experience, right? But that doesn't say that that's Brother Taharka, that's Brother Malcolm Flex, Brother Damon. That don't reflect on the whole nation, So yeah, we may have brothers who act up, bump their head or whatnot, but we have to be careful. Generalizing the whole people and the whole group of people, unless you trying to do damage because you may have some personal right against a particular
they always do that
type of brother. but all of us are not like that. So I would just ask my sisters to be mindful of that, because it would be wrong for me as a man to make generalizations toward my sisters, black women, knowing that it doesn't reflect on all of my sisters. That would be wrong. So I would just ask us to please be mindful of that, and please be mindful of also listening to videos and clips. Because it was a 6 to 7, 8 minute clip, but y'all didn't hear the whole 2-3 hour conversation. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to talk about that, but when we get to speaking in absoluteness, then you have to be careful, because the minister's words is like a double-edged sword. They can either protect you or they can cut you. And if you handle his words the wrong way, you just might get cut. So, Brother Rizza, I'm not going to talk about
his words, some magical power and shit.
That whole situation. That's my brother. That's one of my best friends. And I know a lot of information that's going out there is very inaccurate. So I would just implore all my brothers and sisters in this conversation, when you talk about that brother and his personal situation, please be careful.
No, we ain't got to be there. We're going to hear the information.
What do you have to say about the sister that he's engaged to? What do you have to say about her?
Like I said, dear sister, I know everybody involved. But
okay, so let me make this one point. Let me make this point, Taharka. I just want 10 seconds.
I want to say this. I've talked to close friends of mine who's a member of the NOI, and I don't really think that it's time to really have that conversation until Brother Rizza or someone else.
That's y'all. That's y'all. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
It's very
I made this shit public. We can talk. It's now public news. We can talk about it. Fuck you talking about? It's Swazi media. You dig? We echo AP shit all day long.
What I'm saying is though, it comes to be speculative.
I didn't. Now, Taharka, did I not say if it's true, or if it's have I said as a matter of fact anything?
Yes.
No. She said her experience, and she's saying what she heard.
I did hear it. Don't you even start with me, Brother X. I told you yes the other day.
I'm not going to have the conversation about my brother Rizza on this show because I think he deserves. All
right, well, come to my show. We'll have it.
To express himself, whether it's right, wrong, true, false, whatever. I think he deserves.
If he's the goddamn accused, if he's being accused, if he's the accused, why would I wait to see if he says it's right or wrong? Nigga, that's not how that works. The accuser provides the evidence. The defendant show how that shit is false. Like, we gotta hear we gotta hear the sister first. We gotta hear exactly the details of what she's saying. What if Rizza spoke first? What will he be defending? We didn't hear anything from the woman. We heard Farrakhan sound like a damn woman. He was mimicking her, but we didn't hear the woman. We want to hear her first, and then Rizza.
Well-spoken brother, and I think he has the right to express himself.
I totally understand what y'all are saying.
What you're saying is that snippet is what triggered you.
That's absolutely. That the fact that those 7 minutes, even I don't care if it was 18 hours long, if you take into context how Farrakhan put those words together, making light of the situation, like if the female said no, and it was okay because it takes like that because it takes a hell of a
matter of fact.
No. I didn't say. I said if it's true.
You're saying it is true.
I said when I spoke to you, Taharka, did I not say if it's true or whether it is true or whether it's not true? I did not say as a matter of fact that this was true. I never said that. I even told you when we spoke on that first day.
Sister, you guys going back and forth because I didn't hear you speak in absolutes in certain instances.
Thank you, Brother Wise.
Okay, so Taharka invited. Oh, that's some slick shit. So he invited Brother Wise Allah. Just look at the name. He invited Malcolm Flex, some goofy nigga, and then he invited Brother Damon. So you got 3 Nation of Islam niggas. Then you got Candy Wise. Did I say Wise? What is that? Whisk. Okay.
Did I not, brother Exo said? I know I'm not. It's true.
I want to hear from
I know,
women.
brother.
He said he knows both of them. He said he knows.
Sister Star. Sister Star. Let me say this to you, good sister. Let me say this. There's in the Holy Quran.
Let me make my point clear before you start, brother Flex. When you came on here, you spoke on Rizza's character. Here to take up for Rizza's.
Let Malcolm Flex go.
No. I'm done with Malcolm Flex.
Yasmin
because he's a man lover too.
A little bit.
She ain't gonna get it.
Hold up. Let him finish the statement.
Then
I just
finished. Go ahead.
I'm not interested.
Okay, so
brother, I said you of anything, brother Flex.
Let's be careful. I'm not.
This nigga said the minister words. This nigga said that. Okay, so a sister dropped off, so now it's just this sister and Yasmin is a bunch of men lovers.
I wanted to speak in the nation. We definitely did it.
So this nigga said the minister words are magical. You gotta be careful how you handle them because they can protect you or they can cut you. What?
Understand, but it doesn't reflect all of us. So again,
biggest conspiracy in the goddamn.
You know what I mean?
Alex Jones.
We understand that a lot of sisters go through trauma. A lot of sisters go through things, and we here to protect y'all. That is what the minister teaches us: is to protect all women.
Guys, niggas still talking?
So you believe that the fiance
again, another accusation.
I asked a question, brother. You accusing me of things I didn't even do.
It's none of your business.
Right.
Thank you. Because the speaker have the right to spoke on giving him
bunch of men lovers.
Right. But the thing is, so the nation of this, because we don't even know who the individual is. So don't try
misogynistic thought
process. You don't know who the individual is. What? You just didn't the nigga just say he knew all the parties involved?
Islam just say this was an isolated incident with this brother over here, and it didn't work out.
They're accusing me of tying my experiences, and I was speaking on the speech. Farrakhan's misogynistic thought process. That's what me and Taharka was speaking on. My experiences have nothing to do with Farrakhan was said willfully from his own mouth.
And hold up. All right, let's move to somebody else real quick. Let's move to Sister Yasmin.
Wait, I gotta hear that part though.
I'm your brother. Right, so that was the thing is that the Nation of Islam didn't willfully bring that information to the public. To us, that was supposed to be private.
Somebody brought it to the public.
Real quick.
We gotta finish.
Right. So that was never supposed to be privy information to any of y'all. Right. So that is irrelevant to what we're talking about. What I'm saying is, again, sis, because I'm your brother, but really you're not really doing harm to the Nation of Islam. You're doing harm to yourself, to your own image. So as a brother, I just gotta keep it real with you. Cause with that, brother, leave it as that. Don't try to put him in with the Nation of because we don't even know who the individual is. So don't try to.
Are you talking about they leaked it? Okay.
For just a couple minutes of a soundbite. I mean,
those sound bites are very damaging.
And then we don't even know if that. Yeah,
those sound bites are very damaging.
So they got. Okay, so come on, man. Come on, man. Now there's sound bites. Those sound bites sounded great together. Okay. Who the fuck Tabarka?
Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now that speech was broken up. He might have said some of those things, but a lot of things were left out. He does not speak like that, and I stand on that. I went to school.
All right, so as you can see, Tabarka allowed a bunch of, but this is what happens. This is what happens. Like, nobody can just be honest with the Nation of Islam. I see a lot on Sunday TV. Like, everybody got to show this passive aggressive, this passive. when it comes to Nation of Islam. Nobody just could be straight real. Like, nah, you heard Garfield say, nah, I want no smoke with them. Everybody wants to get him a straight pass. You got Unc, you got myself. You already know how Young Pharaoh and said he give it up. I never heard Chief X talk about it, but you know, there's some of us out there that go dumb hard. We ain't giving nobody a pass. And now he invite all these goddamn Muslims on a panel to jump her. And they all repeating the same talking points. All right, so now it's getting corny.
His daughter.
Exactly.
I don't even believe that.
All right, so that's Yasmin. All right, so that women power, all that black girl magic, it ain't so magical.
Now it's unfortunate.
Now, when Steven Crowder said rape culture is a myth, and all that really means is that people are not compassionate about it. If they don't take it serious, they look the other way. Well, shit. Stop acting like rape culture, if it does exist. Stop acting like it's a man thing. Because Sister Yasmin is standing with RZA on this shit. So you got women who also, if rape culture is real, you got women who, a large part of women who take a part of that shit, who join the rape culture.
I don't know what you've been through, but I grew up.
Don't talk about my experience.
We got to that one.
That. What about him?
I just got sloppy.
My leader just
X, did he just
brother to hearken? Look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 motherfuckers on a panel. It's going to get sloppy, bro. This nigga named Muslim. Yo, shame on you, bro. This nigga named Bay down here. Oh my God. I want to see what this sister says, because that's crazy.
Like you the man to stop.
I need to get Candy in. But Yasmin, we definitely know that you know from experience being in
experience. I went to school with his daughters in New York City, Temple number 7. No, ma'am. That man is not like that.
Okay, so you met the nigga. Wait, who? Was that Farrakhan or I know RZA had kids. RZA.
Why did Farrakhan not hit Khadijah? Didn't he abuse her one time, and then he said he never did it again because she fought back?
Right. Wait. So he abused her before he joined the Nation of Islam, and now that makes him an angel? What the yeah, like they really believe this doctrine. They call it the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And some of them delude themselves to believe that shit. That this shit just gives life. I mean, it could be smoking crack, shooting heroin needles, and he listened to this goofy Yakub shit, and all of a sudden, that nigga is clean. No, you didn't clean up nobody. And what they mean by clean up is they get him in new clothes. That nigga is still an addict in ranks. That's why they could pay that nigga a bundle of crack to go kill somebody. You dig? So no, these niggas ain't off drugs. Like, show me that shit. Like, you know, where y'all stats at? That a person was on drugs and now they no longer drinking herbal tea. Stop it.
Before he was in the Nation, he said that
her name was Betty Ross back then. Her name was Betty Ross back then.
Her name was Betty Ross back then. So he beat her up as Betty Ross. That's a different woman because now she's Khadijah Farrakhan. Like, come stop.
Was they married?
He said that he hit his wife, and that was the last time he ever hit his wife because Sister Khadijah came back and knocked him out.
So my thing is Farrakhan has flaws. And when the leadership has flaws, you're gonna have members.
He wasn't even in the Nation at that time.
Being flawed.
He wasn't in the Nation at that time.
You're gonna have members who are flawed. So just because you have great experiences with Farrakhan, not everybody.
Thank y'all so much.
And he stood 10 toes down for the
I
Nation.
disagree.
Let me get my sister Candy in. Sister Candy, what did you have to add? The Moorish World TV citizen and moderator of this whole thing. Let's get it. We got 2 moderators in here. We're going toe to toe. Yasmin on deck. We got Candy on. Nah, just like Candy. What you got for us, sis?
Well, my opinion is that, Sister Minister, I sat here, I listened to you, I heard your whole thing that you said, and I am one that absolutely agrees with you.
Good.
I have met some men that are in the nation, and their attitudes are exactly of what you speak of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They want to. I'm a Black American woman. So
I see why I was fast forwarding to this sister right here. Because as long as they ain't got no affiliation, they never joined, they're gonna, a normal woman who never joined the Nation of Islam, one of these Hebrew shits, they're gonna feel like Sister Minister.
The first thing that they think of is that I'm some type of way other than what I carry myself as. And let me say this, Yasmin, you disagree with who I've met?
Disagree as well.
Well, I'm talking about my experience. I'm not talking about Yasmin
because I don't know any like that.
I'm not talking about any.
No. I don't ain't like that. You dumb bitch. Like, yo, you got, like, let's say the white nationalist movement. You think everybody in there is about that killing shit? You dig? Some niggas are punks in there. Like, nah, I'm in here, but I ain't killing nobody. You dig? Y'all doing that shit. I'm gonna make up. And yeah, when I play that, no, that's a Crip shit. Man, wait till I get back on the Super Predators. Man, I'm not done with them niggas.
Any of you all's experience, I'm talking about my own. I've met many men in the NOI, and I promise to tell you, a lot of them have the attitude that Sister Minister is speaking of. Okay.
No. Again, I said mannerisms are going to be they're going to be very respectful. Their mannerisms in public is going to be all that. You got to know them outside the mosque. Because like they say, he's human. He's human. Well, if he's human, then he's gonna have these different, outbursts and different characteristics. You dig? But really, like, they really believe they're the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Once you hear that doctrine, your life is changed forever. You'll never go back to your nigga mind.
Okay, you may not have met them,
right?
Brother Damon, you shake your head, but your actions tonight, the yelling, the screaming, the disrespect, the not letting this woman, Sister Minister, speak, is that the behavior that you speak of that has been taught to you by NOI? Because that is disgusting.
When they're attacking my minister, yes.
I told you the men lovers, the men lovers. They're attacking they're attacking. She could attack his kids and he wouldn't have been like that. The minister, like these dudes are men lovers, man.
I'm going to. And if you don't like it, oh well.
Let's get that on record. You attacked me first, Brother X.
Stated her opinion, and it is common courtesy as a man to be respectful of a woman and let her speak her own piece.
But she the woman.
Here you go again. There go another one. There go another one. There go another one. There go another one.
Sister Candy, we gotta be fair though.
That's what they teach y'all though.
Sister Candy, let's be fair
not
though.
allow a person to
Brother
share their
Charles.
opinion or share their experience because they're not in agreement with what you say.
Right.
You guys have respect on a whole nother level, all the way down. If it was a scale, you'd be on the ground right now.
Well, I must be on the ground too, because I really disagree with what's being said. And I'm a sister. I'm a sister. Andy, I'm a sister, and I respect everything that you say. But when it comes
I have the floor.
Mr. Farrakhan, I have a problem with what's being said.
To have a conversation with them. Come in. Start talking over the next person. It's common courtesy to just listen to a person while they speak. You can't talk and listen at the same time.
I was over there. I didn't even get my speech out.
Oh, you gonna get it. You gonna get it.
Randy said he was gonna come back to you. I thought I heard him say that. But anyway, like I said, it's many of men that act the same exact way as Sister Minister has spoken about. One thing I want to say, Sister Minister, I'm glad that you made it out of that situation.
Thank you.
Because some women don't. I have seen friends and had family members who have husbands in the NOI and be taken with their children out of their own household by them same NOI brothers. So just let's be clear. You all don't know what's going on behind closed doors in other people's houses as they slap you up 5 or do whatever they do when they meet you up there at the mosque, okay? You don't know how they're treating the women that they're dealing with. And yes, a lot of them speak of wanting to have polygamous relationships. So let's just be clear. And if those women do, you said it earlier, Damon X, and I want you to understand. I listen very well. I listen to all of you.
Yeah, sure you do.
One thing for sure, that you knew and met his illegitimate children. Well, if they were illegitimate children, how could they be illegitimate if he was married to all of them?
Right.
And it was legal. They would all be his children.
And like I said on that, because the media.
But I just want to say, either you're a legitimate child of Minister Farrakhan or you're not. If you're illegitimate, that means that he was doing something behind his wife's back that was not of legal standing.
Come on now.
Being married to several different women. Period, point blank. And let's just be clear. If it was not for Malcolm X, we would not have known any of this was going on in the Nation of Islam. Okay, and we saw how they treated and what they did to that brother. They throw him after all those years of him giving his life to the NOI. What did they do? Throw him and his children out of the same house that he raised those children in. So don't tell me what they won't do or how they treat each other. So at the end of the day, I have my own opinion. Like I said, I got my own opinion, just like y'all do. And you can continue to go on and do whatever you saying, however you want to say, and shaking your head, brother X. But brother Damon X, let me be clear. But I promise to tell you, your behavior tonight, Grand Sheik, that was disgusting. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, to your point, Sister Kenny, I don't want to cut you off. I'm hoping that we can get to the point to have these intelligent conversations without cutting each other off, without getting, I know we get passionate because that's our energy, but will we ever have a conversation where, you know, we call the European a savage sometimes. We may even call the European the devil, or he's the oppressor. But when you look at these Europeans disagree, and I'm not trying to for not even a stretch of an imagination to try to keep up.
We're trying to compare yourself to white folks.
But when these European and these oppressors and killers, when they sit at the table to negotiate their differences, man, they don't look like this. Can we ever get to the point where we can negotiate and go against each other without looking like this? I think this is what Malcolm Flex is talking about when he says, you know, these conversations.
Nah, we ain't doing that shit. But maybe niggas can't get business loans because we got small, unproven businesses. Niggas be either LLC single members or it might be multi-members. But where are the fucking employees? Like, I want to see a black business get denied a loan that actually have employees. I got some friends with employees. They get loans. They get loans. I bring them on the show. And they're younger than me. They get loans. When I say younger than me, significantly. As a matter of fact, so some dude today had asked how old I was, and I told him, I said 44. He shook my hand because I was scoring some points today in the gym. And I don't always play. A lot of times I do like a lot of training. I don't always play. So I played today, and he seen me play. He played against me, and I'm scoring. I'm talking shit. It was like after the game, like, how old are you? Like 44. He shook my hand. Like, oh my god. So I thought you was way younger than that. You dig? But anyway, that's it for this show right here. Because I see it's getting clownish. This nigga trying to big up Malcolm Flex. Okay, I can't respect that up to her to be on that one. I think Sister Nanny did the right thing. She came in and got off. Candy Whisk had defended Sister Minister. Really not, she didn't defend her. She just came and spoke the truth. Like, yo, y'all niggas wilding. Like, these dudes aren't saints. They aren't perfect. These guys got flaws like everybody else. And it starts with leadership. There's no defense. She just kept it real. Like, no, these niggas are animals too. You know, they are super predators too, or they can be. Yeah. That's a fact, Mongo Slave. The minister said he don't need y'all to defend him. He can do it himself in his speech. I believe I heard him say that too. He feels like he's being attacked. How these brothers are so strong. I'm telling you, yo. Yeah, now they are very effeminate. Well, that's why a lot of them won't even come on the damn show and talk. You see me, they start cutting me off. Niggas are very, very feminine when it comes to like tough skin. They all start screaming, yelling, yo, do I have to go to my catalog and show y'all my archives and show y'all the screaming and yelling niggas? When you touch on that religion, when you question the honorable minister or Elijah Muhammad, these goofy niggas with their goofy doctrines. Yeah, but anybody can get it if Nation Islam members see this video and they want to talk about their doctrine, even this subject. You're welcome to do that, okay? Which I know you're not, because they get intimidated when somebody had the NOI experience. So those two sisters, Sister Nanny for sure, and then Sister Yasmin for sure. The other woman did 10 years, but she wasn't really in the mosque like that. So her experience was experience, but wasn't as authentic as Sister Nanny's and Sister Yasmin. Sister Yasmin said she was in the mosque. I think. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, whatever. But Sister Nanny definitely got the experience. When you got experience like that, they usually back off. They usually because now you're able to say shit like Minister Farrakhan got wives. Like they don't want the public to know that. This is why like they'll back off debating people who got experience and knowledge. This is why I gotta act like I don't have knowledge. When I have these guys on the live, right? I come at them like I got basic knowledge of the NOI. I don't come at them like I know some things because I know they won't hop on. They'll cower off. Anyway, time for work. I'll be on later. We could recap this and whatever else. Peace. Wait a minute. I forgot. I ain't out just yet. I forgot. Let me kick my feet up. I got a 6 o'clock class today. I don't got a 5 o'clock class. No, Mongo, I'm not out yet. I forgot. I got a whole nother hour. You dig? I love it. I forgot. I would have been mad as hell. I got a whole nother. I'm chilling. I done rushed my food down my throat and everything. You dig? Hold on. All right, so let's play a little more, see what happens.
Conversations are really counterproductive, and not that he said those words. And it's not that the conversation is counterproductive. It's how we pursue the conversation, and we get to the end of the conversation, and everybody is at odds with each other for a difference of opinion, a difference of a philosophy, or a different experience that we don't agree with. We got to get to the point where we can have an intelligent conversation. As calm as Malcolm Flex come in here and talk, you know what I'm saying? And maybe even as fiery as Damon X came in.
No, I wasn't fiery.
But at the end of the day,
that's not fiery.
We're listening to each other and we're walking away with some sort of understanding of where we need to go to at least better ourselves and our character as we move into this world.
And that's why you got to be like, something like me. Because I ain't into these religious, organizations where my morality is checked by them. I can cut a sister off. I don't believe in that shit. I believe in equality. In equality. Okay, I believe in equality. So I'll cut your ass off. But these niggas ain't supposed to do that. They supposed to, the sister's the queen. My queen ass niggas. You can't do that.
At the end of the day, we got a common enemy. I tell people every time, I might disagree with you, but I don't hate you. I will fight back to back with you.
Man, you heard this nigga said we got a common enemy, but they will sit there and big up Hampton and all these guys and these Fred Hampton guys, but they said the enemy is all oppressors. They said black, white, Chinese, Arab. They said they don't hate white people. They hate oppressors. So what is he talking about? But again, that's that black allergy, doctrine that they're all in. The common enemy. And I find that video Tarek Bay gave his solutions, like what he want black folks to do. It was some superficial, goofy, mumbo jumbo shit. No different than a spaceship. Like motherfuckers really talking about their separate societies from America. Like nigga, okay, yeah, keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
And that's just it. But with that being said, let me get my brother Bro Wise a law.
I just had one more thing to say, brother Taka Bay. And this will be my last thing. As a man and a woman, because we got men and
That's
women.
Candy talking.
Remember to guard your character. Stop windmilling for people who ain't gonna windmill for you.
Right.
Felt that.
Felt
that.
This we act like shit. Holy Ghost.
The Southern Baptist coming out, Tarka.
Then I got Dr. Boundary in, and then I got Albertina Bay, and then Muslim. Let's go, brother.
I gotta call Steve.
I hope y'all just stand around. Everybody have that voice, and then we'll.
I could co-leader too. I can tell.
And then
definitely because he's talking about this separate America that he's wishing for black folks, this liberty shit, and like that's why like when people say fighting for freedom and liberty, like you really need them to spell that shit out, because what you thinking, you're like your liberty is just equality, racism ends, black folks have a fair chance like everybody else. You did that's how you think of liberty. No, these niggas really think black folks should live in a state by themselves exclusively, and there's now 49 states of America, not 50, because one is reserved to black folks. Like that's how this nigga believes. That's his liberty, like segregation all over again. Like he believes in separate and segregation, separatism, separation and segregation. That's what he believes in, like a white nationalist.
David X, I got you.
Peace, peace.
Right before the yes, sir. Come on, brother.
All right, peace to everybody. I think really with what's happened with Sister Minister, I think it might have just all been really just a misunderstanding. And maybe, I mean, I'm guessing maybe that brother really probably wasn't in the nation, or maybe he just, how would I say? Probably just, I don't know, he was probably scamming, kind of like Dr. Umar. I think
yeah, but Dr. Umar isn't scamming. He has a school though, so that's a dumb. That wasn't smart. Compound community.
What does it have to do
right, compound.
Farrakhan, though? We're talking about Farrakhan.
Can a brother speak?
Well, I'm speaking on the subject because I mean the name of the video that, according to what it said dating a brother in the nation. So I'm just speaking on what the video said. But what was your question? Go ahead.
The fact that Farrakhan okayed it for the brothers when he said,
okay, so you're speaking
that you have to be a hell of a man to turn down sex. Shouldn't a man in the NOI who's been through the NOI classes, the men classes, should be able to turn down sex?
Right. Because the fruit is the best. Like we got a whole slogan and shit with the fruit.
Right? He didn't say that's not exactly what he said.
So if you're NOI and your leader is telling you that that it's impossible for y'all to turn down sex.
But what I was going to say is
he's been waiting a long time.
I gotta buy you okay. Maybe I am gonna leave. I gotta buy him a no, we gotta get you a nice blanket, dude.
Well, just a little to what the was talking about with the video. Can we really judge a whole organization and a people? And like she said, can we really judge?
Yeah, I gotta get you a thick blanket
based on a few minutes of a speech. Because the fact of the matter is, and I think she would agree, is that we didn't hear the whole thing of the video. She said that he was taking up more so and putting a lot on the sister, but we didn't hear the whole video, so we don't know what he said. And to make it bad, and the funny part about it, like Brother Malcolm Flex said, that when in the nation didn't even leak that video out. Somebody else did, and I want to know.
I'm gonna buy him some sneakers.
Is obviously was somebody to drop that video off into the
Target.
Somebody in the nation had
I bought
to
one pair.
Somebody in the nation.
You know, like he slide them right back off. I bought him the new sneakers, a little slightly too big.
Ain't that what the feds do?
So now I gotta go buy him another pair.
Confusion amongst us. So I think we should look at that and be conscious of it.
Somebody was there at the meeting. Put this out.
Hold up.
Yeah, but that's real funny to me. I'm just saying.
Because
somebody in the NOI.
Remember the minute actually.
Here's the microphone. I'm gonna say something here.
Because I didn't want to be on here long. But I remember that the minister, actually, when he was speaking on gang violence, he spoke about this. He said that you can usually tell the agent in the group when they always want to keep mess going on, when they always want to keep conflict going on with the
Y'all always go to.
That's all I'm gonna
stop this.
Yeah, so you can really tell who the agent is or who that person is.
Brother, I don't think
that this one situation with this one brother does not reflect the whole FOI.
I said my experiences does not even reflect the whole FOI at large. I said that.
Beautiful.
I said that the leader, if your leader is out here, I said that. My
one brother does not reflect. Will you admit that this realistically, right? You didn't hear the full clip.
No, that's it.
Is why would